From Atlanta, CBS Sports presents the National Football League. It's the Houston Texans and the Atlanta Falcons. Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. With NFL MVP Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. Rich, two teams coming off wins last week.
Yeah, Kevin, did take Dan Quinn very long to get things turned around here in Atlanta. He's brought some stability. They're 3-0, and of course, on the other side, Houston, they made the quarterback change in week 1 to Ryan Mallett. The Texans really need him to deliver. They haven't had production and consistency at that position for a while.
The Texans won the toss of the coin. They've deferred, so the Falcons will receive, and it's our first look for Houston at their new kicker, Nick Novak, who was signed this week. They let Randy Bullock go after a tough game against Tampa Bay last week. And deep back for the Atlanta Falcons will be Eric Weems. Still no Devin Hester. Turf toe. He's been cleared to practice, which we saw on Friday. Not suited up today and active, and away we go in the Dome in downtown Atlanta. Weems. He's got a seam, and he was brought down on the play by Brian Peters, an inside linebacker. It's a 29-yard return. Here's a look at the quarterback, Matt Ryan, at the very top of his game, and he throws to Julio Jones, who's caught a historically amount of passes earlier on, and Devontae Freeman coming off a big game last week on the ground against Dallas.
Yeah, I just think that Matt Ryan's playing behind a better offensive line, Kevin. That's made a big difference. He's able to trust the protection. They're able to run the ball more effectively, and that's really opened up things for them in the passing game.
Got DeMarco, the fullback, and it's 1st and 10. Freeman, always drilled by Cushing, read it well. Freeman goes down after a gain of 2, and he's up to about the 31-yard line. Jake Matthews will have his hands full with J.J. Watt today on the other end for Houston. And wide receiver Roddy White hadn't caught a pass in 2 straight games. That should end today. One of the greats in the history of this Falcon franchise. Rockies run 73 routes. They've only thrown to him once in the last couple games. It's 2nd down and 8. The tight end, Tololo, is in motion. Ryan again outside. That's the fullback. May have been tapped at the line of scrimmage and coming through. And it was Jadeveon Clowney getting a hand on it. Let's take a look at that line. The reigning defensive player of the year is J.J. Watt. We just saw Brian Cushing, the linebacker, with a terrific play on the first play. Leads the Texans in tackles, and cornerback Jonathan Joseph played well against the Buccaneers last week. And their quarterback, Jameis Winston. It is 3rd down and 8 with a nickel now for Houston.
It's all about identification with J.J. Watt. He's going to move all over that defensive line.
Ward in the backfield. Outside they go here for Hankerson with the coverage by Jackson. And it's 3 and out. And the Atlanta Falcons have got a punt on their first possession.
A really good start for Houston. Surprised that Atlanta came out throwing the ball so much, particularly when you consider how well Devontae Freeman ran the ball last week against the Dallas Cowboys. He was outstanding, 141 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns.
The best punter in the NFL right now is Matt Bosher. And deep back, he's got Cecil Shorts, the 3rd, on the run from the 24 and out to the 30-yard line he goes. It was a hang time of only 3-8. Stupar makes the stop special teams wise. That's where he's made his money in the NFL for Atlanta. 45-yard punt, 6-yard return. Quarterback Ryan Mallett makes his 5th NFL start today.
Yeah, and every time out, Kevin's a learning experience for Ryan Mallett. I think when you evaluate him, it's important to keep in mind that while he's in his 5th season, as you said, he's just making his 5th start. But you can already see the improvement from week 1. There's no question he has a big-time arm, but the accuracy is an area where he needs to improve.
In that win last week for the Texans, they had a 100-yard rusher and a 100-yard receiver. Prosh is the fullback, and it's 1st and 10, and there's Arian Foster in the game, and Mallett right to work. Brown, the left tackle, with a good block, and on the move, and it's caught. A tackle by Durant. Arian Foster, who changes the game offensively with a gain of 15 on the play and up to the 45. The left tackle is Dwayne Brown. He missed a couple games with a broken right thumb. Back in there and offered a good block there. And we just saw Arian Foster. Not a lot of snaps today, but his coming back in after groin surgery is huge for this offense.
Well, it really changes the dynamics, especially when you consider the guy has accounted for almost a third of the Texans' offense over the last 5 seasons.
Mallett bought time, too, on that play. Foster remains 1st and 10. Arian Foster. Fedorowicz and Prosh with a couple of blocks. He's out to the 48. He picks up 2 on the play as we take you to New York and James Brown.
Kevin, here's how the Jets capped off their London victory.
I tell you what, Tannehill under pressure all day. Marcus Williams going to pick off a pass intended for Jordan Cameron. The Jets win 27-14 in London.
Miami now 3 straight losses. Back to Kevin and Rich.
There are some issues in Miami, Rich.
Lots of speculation about Joe Philbin, whether or not he'll be the head coach for the Dolphins come tomorrow morning.
Good tackle by Bierman right there after a gain of 3 by Foster. He's out to midfield. Now it will be 3rd down and 5. Big play so far. The pass to Foster. Atlanta had 3 plays punt. If you're just joining us.
Crowd noise always an issue here.
Falcons are in the nickel. Mallett, good block by Newton. That's deflected and intercepted on the play and picked off by Babineau, who gets the ball at the 46. Jonathan Babineau from Port Arthur, Texas, comes up big on the ricochet and has the game's first turnover.
Well, the Texans were expecting a lot of zone coverage. You're going to see man-to-man coverage on the very first 3rd down. This was kind of a force by Mallett. And Jordan Babineau right there for the easy interception. Not surprised to see Atlanta make the change, play a little bit more man on the first 3rd down.
So on the deflected ball on a pass intended from Mallett to the wide receiver, Hopkins, the defensive lineman Babineau picks it off on the ricochet. 2nd possession Atlanta. Inverted wishbone. Devontae Freeman on 1st down and 10, brought down by Crick. He takes it to the 49 and he picks up 3.
Well, it's really fun to see Devontae Freeman last week, Kevin. You know, he had fun. It was his first opportunity to really get the lion's share of the work, and he made the most of it. 141 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. He was very good in the passing game, and Matt Ryan said he wanted to touch the ball every opportunity he could, and that's what you want from your young running back.
5 defensive backs for the Texans. 2nd down, long 7 for Matt Ryan. This is Julio Jones. Toilolo trying to throw a block, and they are quickly on it with the tackle made by the rookie McKinney out of Mississippi State. The linebacker only allows a gain of 2 down to the 49-yard line. Well, look at the offense.
Yeah, they've gotten off to a great start offensively, especially when you consider, Kevin, they've got an entirely new offense and a play caller. 10-play drives. They're the first 3rd down defense, or 3rd down efficiency. Their 2nd total plays a game. Their 3rd. Very, very efficient to start the season. Good look at Kyle Shanahan, the offensive coordinator. He's going to help Matt Ryan in a lot of ways with the protection and, more importantly, a more balanced approach in terms of the running game.
With 6 in the secondary, 3rd and 5, and he goes outside. Roddy White makes the grab. Simon the coverage. He's down to the 44-yard line of Houston, very close to a 1st down, picking up 4.
Looks like he may just be a little bit short, but Kevin, you pointed out Roddy White's been quiet the last couple weeks, but with all the attention focused on Julio Jones, he has an opportunity, I think, to have a big day here at home against the Texans.
Rookie Kevin Johnson got a taste of the veteran White, who is in his 11th season out of UAB. First catch in over 2 games for Roddy. 4th and 1. DeMarco is in as the fullback. Freeman. Well, he was held by Merciless, and then Big Vince Wilfork may have brought him down, but not before. It looks like he's got a 1st down as they spot the ball at the 44.
This is the beauty of having a fullback in there. You're going to see Patrick DeMarco. He's up in there. He gets a good block on the rookie corner, Kevin Johnson. It's just enough to free up Devontae Freeman.
DeMarco, one of a handful of really successful fullbacks. They're going to bring the chains from the far side. You don't see a lot of offenses, Rich, work with that fullback anymore.
Well, there's a real commitment, I think, from both of these teams to run the football. The Houston Texans have a good one as well, and Jay Prosh. I always felt comfortable, Kevin, as a quarterback with a good fullback in the game. He can do a lot of the dirty work inside.
DeMarco gets it. Well, a couple games in a row here for that Atlanta offense. They have finished with at least 400 total yards. They are number 3 in the NFL in that category. And Matt Ryan at the very top of his game.
And second in passing. They're averaging over 305 yards a game through the air.
4 in the secondary for the Texans. It is 1st and 10 for the Falcons. Devontae Freeman up the gut, looking for a block. Levitri provided some. The tackle was made by McKinney. It is a gain of 4 to the 40-yard line of Houston. And notable inactives, we talked about Hester Coleman, the running back who was so good week 1, still fractured ribs. Tammy with the concussion from last week. Dent not playing, a linebacker for the Texans. He's got a hamstring.
Well, it just seems like there's been so many injuries around the National Football League through the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. Guys with hamstrings and groins and concussions.
2nd down 6 for Matt Ryan. Side, he was looking for Hankerson with the coverage by the rookie Johnson. Incomplete. 3rd and 6 now coming up for Atlanta.
Well, Matt Ryan, I think, is already starting to feel the impact of a guy like Kyle Shanahan. I think, you know, when Kyle Shanahan came over from Cleveland, he knew right away that the quarterback needed help, Kevin. He was getting hit too much. First thing they addressed was the offensive line, and more of an emphasis, I think, on running the football, being a more balanced team. I think it's really going to help Matt Ryan down the road.
Shanahan, of course, spent 4 seasons with the Texans as their offensive coordinator. 3rd down and 6. Freeman remains. 5 in the secondary. He got away from Simon. He's chased by Clowney, and he finds his receiver, the running back Freeman. He's brought down by Joseph. It's a catch and run at 25 to the 16-yard line of the Texans. 1st down Atlanta.
Well, we don't think of Matt Ryan as a great scrambling quarterback. This is a terrific job getting outside the pocket, keeping his eyes down the field. I think he's actually throwing the ball to Hankerson and not Devontae Freeman, but it works out really well for the Atlanta Falcons.
Eighth play of the drive. Babineau with the ricochet interception for the Falcons. DeMarco remains 1st and 10. Freeman, DeMarco the block in a big hole. Touchdown, Freeman. 16-yard burst.
Man, watch them cave this whole side of the line down. You're going to get the kick out, and then the back is able to go right up inside. This is terrific blocking up front by the offensive line. Wow, that's a huge hole for Devontae Freeman.
And they've just kind of put this offensive line of Atlanta together. They brought in Levitri. They've had to make some moves.
Yeah, it's a more athletic offensive line, Kevin. No question about that. They wanted players up front that could run and be a fit in their zone run scheme.
Matt Bryant makes it 7-0 Atlanta. 8-play drive. The interception by Babineau on the ricochet. And then Freeman, a 16-yard touchdown run for the Falcons. Freeman had 3 touchdowns against the Dallas Cowboys last week.
And he's really taken advantage, Kevin, of his opportunity. He just looks like a natural fit in this offense. Got a chance to play a little bit last year, but really has embraced the opportunity. He went out and drafted Tevin Coleman, who's still out with the rib injury in the 3rd round, but Freeman, a 4th-round pick from a season ago, looks terrific.
Bosher with the ensuing kickoff. Keith Mumphrey back, the native of Vienna, Georgia, and he'll bring it out, the rookie from Michigan State. Bosch with the block and brought down at the 20. Stupar makes another special teams tackle, 22-yard return. Another try here for Ryan Mallett, 8:26 in the 1st from Atlanta.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Domino's. Order online at domino's.com. And by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football.
The Atlanta Aquarium, the world's largest aquarium, 8 million gallons of fresh and marine water. 7-0 Atlanta. They cash in on an interception by Babineau. George Godsey is the offensive coordinator, and he's glad to have Foster back.
Oh, it really is, Kevin. Look at, they have to ease him back into it. I think he practiced the past 3 weeks, but he hasn't really been hit in practice, and he hasn't really played with the live action. So they do think his movement's getting better. And we saw him the first play of the game have that catch, but he is such a difference maker for this team, not just in terms of the running game, but the passing game as well.
He was involved in 3 of the Texans' first 4 plays on their opening drive. Alfred Blue is in right now with the 1st and 10. This is Blue out of LSU. Wrapped up as he got to about the 22-yard line. Hit by a couple. Hagman was there on the gain of 2. The defense for Atlanta on the line. Hagman, he does the heavy lifting. Just made the tackle right there. The linebacker Paul Warlow, who struggled last week, is fully healthy today. Was battling a calf. Cornerback Desmond Trufant hasn't been thrown at much because he's played so well. One of the best to begin the season at the cover corner in the league. 4 in the secondary right now for Atlanta. 2nd down and 8 for Ryan Mallett with a couple tight ends. Blue cut well, finds the gap, brought down in the secondary by Moore. It's a gain of 9 to the 31 and a Texan 1st down.
Well, point of emphasis this week for the Falcons defense was a fast start. They got off to a really poor start last week at Dallas. Gave up way too many big plays early, and before they knew it, they were behind 14-0 on the road. This isn't a very complicated defensive scheme. They play a handful of fronts and a handful of coverages, but they play fast and they fly to the ball.
It's a 1st and 10. He's met right there by his former teammate Brooks Reed, making his Falcon debut today. Had some injuries. He's thrown for a loss of 1. Blue is back to the Houston. There's a flag. Now they've picked it up. Back to the 30-yard line.
It's good to get him back, and there's a good look at Richard Smith, the defensive coordinator for the Falcons, and talked to us on Friday about less volume and more teaching and learning. And really feel like this unit's going to get better the more time they spend together.
2nd and 11 at the feet of Cecil Shorts. Incomplete 3rd and 11. And of course, they've got a defensive-minded head coach, Atlanta does, in Dan Quinn. And Richard Smith has been around, and he's done a good job.
Yeah, just watch here, Kevin. We talk about spacing and how important it is. You got 2 receivers in the same area. And we talked about spacing against the zone coverages. It's like 5 on the die. You need spacing, horizontal and vertical spacing against all the zone coverages that they'll see today in the Falcons defense.
Chris Polk has come in as a running back. 5 in the Falcons secondary. 3rd and 11. Right on the screws. Caught by Polk and drilled by Moore. It's a gain of 5 on 3rd and 11. And he gets out to the 35. And the Texans have got a punt.
Well, with all the zone coverage, you're going to see a lot of these Falcon defenders. They play with their eyes on the quarterback. And they rally to the throw, and they drive, and they make good tackles in the open field.
Shane Leckler to punt, one of the best that's ever booted in the league. Weems signaling for the fair catch. Good coverage by the Texans special teams, which have been struggling. 4.5 on the hang time. 37-yard punt. 5:58 in the 1st from Atlanta. Replay every game of the 2015 season on demand with NFL Game Pass. Go to NFL.com/Game Pass to start your free trial. With Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan from the 29, Ryan Impressive.
Yeah, he's the same every day, Kevin. He's all football, and that's what you need from your quarterback. He's always in great shape, studies and prepares the same way week in and week out.
The tight end Mickey Schuler is in for Atlanta. It's a pitch out to Freeman. It's a 1st and 10, and he's driven out of bounds. Cushing is right there, loss of 2. Same every day, you say.
Yeah, it really is, and I think a coach can't always prepare you for every possible scenario. You have to accept some of that responsibility, and I think that's what Matt Ryan does a terrific job of. He's always in there. He's asking questions. He's helpful with his teammates. He knows this offense. Remember now, this was a real challenging offseason for him, learning a new offense, really for the first time since his rookie season. He's embraced the challenge.
5 defensive backs for the Texans. 2nd down and 12. First time we've seen the pistol this afternoon. Oh, they got by as Watt comes in. There was incredible pressure that came right over Jake Matthews, and then Watt was there.
Hands to the face, number 90 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And the reason why Matthews got it, because Clowney had his hands in his face mask. Clowney is caught, getting better, they say, every game.
Yeah, right here, you get a good look at Clowney. That's a good matchup to watch, Kevin. You look at Clowney and Matthews. See him push the head back of the left tackle, Jake Matthews.
He had microfracture, Clowney did last year, Rich. Not a lot of guys have come back fully healed from that surgery.
No, only active for 4 games as a rookie, and I think you're seeing his workload and snaps increase each week as he gets more comfortable in this defense.
A lot of pressure, too, being the #1 overall pick a couple years ago.
No question about it. You know, I think in college he got by on talent. Kevin, he's realizing it takes more at this level.
Ryan on a 1st and 10. Freeman is the big Vince Wilfork. The ball may have been coughed up, and Watt trying to dig it out with another flag thrown. Already had 1 turnover. That was a deflected pass by Mallett, picked up by Babineau. It was recovered, they say, by Atlanta and by Freeman.
Sometimes when a big man hits you, you don't need to see it. Sometimes you can just hear it and feel it. You know what I mean?
Number 67 offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's on Levitri, especially when a body is as big as number 75 is.
I can tell you that when a guy like that falls on you, you feel it. I had Tony Siragusa separate my shoulder with a very similar play.
And break your neck, too.
Yeah,
huh?
no, not good.
No, that's a big man. He had all those years with a couple championships with New England Patriots. First down and 20 now with the penalty on Levitri on the offensive line for Atlanta. 5 in the secondary for the Texans. 1st and 20. They bring in Nick Williams, an extra receiver. And they got Jones. First time he's caught it. Gain of 10 right there. 2nd reception for Jones, who caught a ton last week against Dallas for 164.
Good look at Kareem Jackson trying to cover Julio Jones. I mean, even when you got good position, he just does a great job using his body, understands leverage so well, and he does a terrific job, Kevin, catching the ball away from his body with confidence using those big hands.
Just picked up 10, worked into Kareem Jackson. 2nd down and 10. Matthews a good block at the left tackle, but boy, getting tangled up inside was the quarterback. And his center person was trying to block, and Ryan got tangled up. That's the first sack. It goes for the Texans. It's a loss of 5, and they're back to the 27-yard line. Cushing got it.
It was interesting talking with Brian Cushing last night, Kevin. He said that he spent time this week talking to backup quarterback Brian Hoyer, who was in Cleveland last year with Kyle Shanahan, the Atlanta offensive coordinator, just to trying to get a feel for how he calls a game, and in particular that zone run scheme.
Ward in the backfield, 6 in the secondary, 3rd and 15 for Ryan. They need the 42. Matthews another good block at the left tackle, and down goes Hankerson. They're going to call that on the rookie Kevin Johnson, who was vocal in the press this week talking about going against the receivers, and namely Julio Jones.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 30 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Well, I got a kick out of what Bill O'Brien said to the rookie corner. He said, hey, look, this isn't the ACC. You're not going up against Duke. This is Julio Jones, my man. You know, it was funny that Kevin Johnson was asked about Julio Jones, what he's seen on tape, and he's never covered anybody like this. This guy is the real deal, but he's going to be a good one. He's a young corner that Texans really like. Played at Wake Forest, played in 47 games, starting his last 41.
Freeman back in. It is 1st and 10. Ryan, that's Roddy White. Grabbed by Boyer from behind up to the 47-yard line. 14-yard pickup, and another flag has been thrown. We sure had a lot of them to begin this season in the NFL. Record pace.
Pass interference, number 84 offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Roddy White picks it up, the 4-time Pro Bowler.
A good look at him in the slot on Boye, and he just clearly pushes off to create some separation.
Romeo Crennel directs the Houston Texan defense as you take a look at Dan Quinn in his first year. And there's Romeo Crennel. They've got the #1 defense in terms of stopping opposing quarterbacks in completion percentage. #1 in the NFL. First and 20. Ryan, Freeman blockers ahead, including Toilolo and Schrader. And he is hit on the play and brought down by Tuggle. It is a gain of 10 through the air. They take him to the 32.
It's really important as a quarterback to be able to change your arm angle. Watch Matt Ryan here. Look how quickly he gets the ball out. Look at him throw it sidearm right underneath the outstretched shoulder of J.J. Watt. You know, Aaron Rodgers does a terrific job of this. Tom Brady. The ability to change your arm angle, to find windows and gaps in a defense.
And still stay accurate.
Absolutely, Kevin. He's one of the finest when it comes to anticipation, getting the ball out on time, and being an accurate thrower from the pocket.
Fullback on top, 2nd and 11. Ryan. Incomplete for Jones. Boye was there. Demps was there. 3rd and 11 for Atlanta. They come in 3-0. Texans come in 1-2.
You know, we just saw a penalty from Roddy White. Look at Julio Jones at the top of this route. Both of these receivers do such a great job using their hands, pushing off and creating separation. And poor Boye, he got pushed before in the slot. Now he's got Julio Jones outside the numbers. I mean, these are physical receivers. Look at the size of those biceps. Kevin, look at your biceps.
Yours, what are you talking about? 3rd and 11. Ward is in as a running back. And outside they go. Good looking catch by Hankerson. He works on Kareem Jackson. They've got the ball to the Atlanta 48. It's a catch of 16 on 3rd and 11 and a Falcon first down.
Leonard Hankerson has done a really nice job. Kevin's the 3rd receiver. This ball gets tipped a little bit, but not enough to prevent Hankerson from making the catch on the boundary.
On the first drive, they converted 1 3rd down, 1 4th down. They convert 3rd down there. So 3rd down so far has been good for this offense, which is the 5th highest scoring in the league.
This is where you make your living as a quarterback in the National Football League, converting 3rd downs.
1st and 10, deep drop, looking long. And he's got Julio Jones. Boye is there to make the stop with a gain through the air to the 33 of Houston. 19-yard pickup, another Falcon first down.
Well, you're going to see Julio Jones. He's going to run the comeback. Watch him put his foot in the ground and come out of this break sharp. These are tough routes to cover. You're so concerned about Julio Jones running by you in the secondary. It's a lot of pressure on these corners.
That's the hottest quarterback wide receiver combo right now. 1st and 10. Here comes Clowney. There goes the pass. And looking for Freeman right in front of Cushing, and somehow aggressively grabs the ball at the 31. And they pick up a couple through the air. Ryan. Your weekend starts when the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans face off Thursday night on CBS and NFL Network. Andrew Luck did not start today for the Colts. We don't know if he'll be able to play on Thursday, but we'll find out right here. 2nd down and 8. Matt Ryan. 109 passer rating last week against that Cowboy D. Ryan, that's to the little used Nick Williams out of UConn. Brought down by Kareem Jackson. Nice cut. Little slot receiver picks up 9 to the 23. That's the end of the quarter. Freeman, a 16-yard rushing touchdown for the Falcons.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pennzoil Synthetics. Make the switch to Pennzoil Pure Plus Synthetics today. And by Verizon. Watch live primetime games with NFL Mobile, only on Verizon.
We're beginning the 2nd quarter here at the Georgia Dome in downtown Atlanta. Rainy weekend, as most of you know, with the hurricane just off the coast with Rich Gannon and Kevin Harlan. 10th play of the Falcon drive coming up. 3rd possession. Scored, Rich, on a 16-yard touchdown run by Freeman early on.
Kevin, you mentioned the 10th play of this drive. They've only had 1 run so far. They've really been heavy pass. 20 plays already for the Falcons. 15 of them have been passes.
They got this new zone blocking scheme that Kyle Shanahan, Rich, is putting in here.
Yeah, they really do. And it's all predicated on this offensive line. Give them a group that can get out, that can run, that can cut the backside and be physical at the point of attack.
Oh, somebody
hard
moves.
count.
Yep, sure was.
Start, number 70, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the 5th penalty on this drive alone. Let's take you to our CBS studios in New York.
Identical Cincy drives for scores.
That's right, JB. 7 plays, 80 yards, capped off by Giovanni Bernard straight up the gut. Cincinnati leads 14-3.
Back to Kevin Harlan and Rich Gannon.
Chiefs did not look good in Green Bay Monday.
No, they really did, Kevin. Really not any phase of the game.
Ooh. It's a 1st and 15, and working on his back right there is Cushing, former Defensive Rookie of the Year. Another flag has been thrown. 2nd sack right there, down at the 28 of the Texans. Let's see what that flag is about.
Illegal use of hands to the face, number 35, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Rich, that's a 6th penalty on this drive alone. Pleasant picks it up, 3 on each team.
Well, how about this? 730 accepted penalties in the first 3 weeks of the season. That's the most over that span in league history. Of course, they set a record in week 2 with 358 penalties. There's a reason for that, Kevin. I think the fact that you have so many rookies and first-year players playing early in the season, and then the NFL has replaced 22 officials, almost 20% turnover in the last 2 years. That's a lot to do with it, just the continuity of these different crews.
It measures about 3 more penalties a game compared to last year.
You're like a mathematician. You come up with these numbers like that.
Yeah. This is my job, you know. It's my job.
That's what I do for a living.
Matt Ryan has started 10 of 14 with 97 through the air on a first down. Freeman. Ooh, another burst. Another broken tackle. Another Atlanta touchdown. This from 23 yards away.
Well, you're going to see Chester pull, and then the back just goes right up inside. I mean, they're making it look so easy against a really talented Houston defense. Safety takes a poor angle. Devontae Freeman, once he's up on the 2nd level, he is a tough tackle.
You're right. That block by Chester was terrific. Freeman's 2nd touchdown run today, 1 of 16. That one for 23. He had 3 in Dallas last week. Bryant will try to tack on another, and it's 14-0 the Falcons. Seconds into the 2nd quarter. Freeman, a terrific start. He leads the NFL in touchdowns now with 6. Galloping for 6 there. Week 4 continues later today on Fox. Then tonight with Sunday Night Football on ESPN. I make it on NBC, and then tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football. Lions and Seahawks on ESPN. In training camp, Rich, Devontae Freeman and rookie Tevin Coleman were at it. Who would be the #1 running back? Coleman got the job, 80 yards first week, fractured the rib. This kid for the last 2 weeks has been spectacular, taking the place of the injured Coleman.
Well, I think they're in good shape, Kevin, because I think Coleman's going to be a terrific player as well. He rushed for over 2,000 yards a season ago at University of Indiana. And I just think they've got some young backs that have bright futures. Devontae Freeman is so deliberate when he takes that ball on that inside handoff from Matt Ryan.
The offensive line is gelled. You can see it. Great communication, same page, newly formed offensive line, and they've been opening up the holes for Devontae Freeman, who is out of Florida State. Deep back here, Keith Mumphrey, who will get the kickoff from Matt Bosher. Bosher's been one of the best in the NFL in touchbacks, but here's another return, and it's the rookie 5th-round pick Mumphrey, who was brought down. Stuper has made his 3rd special teams tackle for the Falcons already in the game. A 26-yard return. Devontae Freeman has exploded on the scene with another touchdown run today. Slow starting offense. We've seen that so far in this young season from Houston.
Yeah, Kevin, this is a critical drive for the Houston offense. They can't afford to fall behind anymore. I think in critical situations, it's important to think of players and not plays.
Foster is in, incomplete on 1st and 10, looking for Hopkins, and there's one of the best right now in the league, Desmond Trufant's 36th consecutive start today in the secondary for the Falcons.
When we talk about in critical times, you think about players and not plays, and so you've got two players that have to get the ball, and you look at Hopkins has been shut out already in the first half, and you got Arian Foster back. These two guys need some touches here, Kevin, in the second quarter to get back in this game.
2nd down and 10. This is Foster, and Babineau from behind, who's already got an interception, makes a nice tackle right there. No gain on the play. They stay at the 21. What about the noise and communication today?
Well, you got to handle the crowd noise, and I think they talk about going no huddle. You got a good look at Babineau. He's just going to split the right guard and right tackle. Newton's not able to come down and get that backside cut off. Babineau too quick in the hole. You got to handle the crowd noise, no question about that. They've got to be able to run the ball. They got to be able to stay in manageable situations. And this is an area where they have really struggled on 3rd and long. It's 1 of 14.
Into the nickel, 3rd and 10, incomplete. And he was looking for his tight end, Garrett Graham, who's only caught a couple passes this year. It's another 3 and out for the Texans.
Well, one of the things about Ryan Mallett, he's got to learn to take a little pace off of some of these throws. Not too bad here. I think part of the issue is Graham doesn't see it coming out of the hole. But there's no excuse for that. Garrett Graham has to make that catch in traffic.
Leckler will punt. Weems is back. This baby hangs high and heavy from the 23. Hang time of 5-3. Plenty of hang, but not much right there. Finally, Weeks comes in. Simon comes in. 56-yard punt. Matt Ryan playing well. He's led a couple of touchdown drives today. He's back out there for the Falcons when we come back.
Well, back here in Atlanta, Devontae Freeman's been the big story so far in the first half. Big catch on 3rd down, the first touchdown run of 16. Of course, he comes right back and gallops in from 23 yards to put the Falcons up 14-0. You look at his production, Kevin, you mentioned last week, 141 yards and 3 touchdowns. The previous 8 games, he had 144 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns.
So kind of a different philosophy in the kind of running back. They had Steven Jackson here before. Now they got Freeman and Coleman.
They got guys that are quicker to the hole that I think are better fits in their zone run scheme.
After the punt, Ryan on 1st and 10 looking for White. Coverage by Cushing. 2nd down and 10. Up until that time, Ryan had gone 7 of his last 8 through the air.
Well, that's the challenge, I think, with a quarterback like Matt Ryan. I think if you're Houston, you got to do everything and anything you can to get him moving a little bit in the pocket, Kevin. Get him off the spot. Get him out of rhythm. You got to hit him. You got to knock him around some. And they have not been able to get good enough pressure on Matt Ryan. And he's getting it out of his hands quickly, doing a good job mixing up the short and intermediate throws.
He is. Nick Williams, one of the receivers, 2nd down and 10. 2 rushing touchdowns by the Falcons. Ryan deflected Watt. He had it off his hands. JJ making it 3rd and 10 with that play at the line.
Does such a great job anticipating when the quarterback is going to throw. You see him getting double teamed. In fact, it's been a frustrating year for J.J. Watt. We talked to Romeo Cornell last night, his defensive coordinator. He said he's seeing everything. They're seeing a lot of 7-man protection. They're seeing him slide the offensive line. They're seeing double teams. We got examples of triple teams against this guy. It's tough, and it's his own fault. You had 20.5 sacks the year before. What do you think they're going to do?
And he lines up in a different place all the time.
They move him all around to try and prevent that, but Atlanta's done a nice job identifying and locating him in the front, as you see Matt Ryan point out those calls up front.
Into 6 defensive backs. Ward was there. Here comes Watt. There goes Ryan. JJ with a sack. 4th of the year. It's the 2nd sack turned in by the Texan defense. And the punting unit on the field now for Atlanta.
You just look at this low stance. He's way over in the corner of the screen there, and he's going to be working on the right tackle, Schrader. Back gets a little bit of a chip, but not enough, and he just beats the tackle around the edge.
How about you got Clowney and Watt lined up, and then Cushing and back, and you got those 3 guys flooding one side of that line.
Really makes it difficult, Kevin, to double team Watt every play. You got to kind of pick your poison against this defensive front.
Good turn. Bosher. Go punt. Flag has been thrown. shorts. Ex-Jacksonville Jaguar comes under it with a 47-yard punt sent off the foot of Bosher in a good hang time of over 5 seconds. A busy Carl Cheffers is officiating.
I wonder if they get a bonus for every flag they throw, because there has been so many through the first 4 weeks of the season. His right and left arm are going to get tired. Really enjoyed visiting with Bill O'Brien last night. He is an intense guy, and talked a little bit about the job that he did up at Penn State. Kevin, really difficult situation going in there and really getting that thing turned around.
Number 54 was not on the line of scrimmage. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. Timeout.
Bill O'Brien, he was the coach of the year in college football when he was at Penn State. J.J. Watt. It's sack number 61.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Dodge.
Tonight on CBS, Téa Leoni returns with special guest star Morgan Freeman, a powerful season premiere of the new hit drama Madam Secretary tonight after 60 minutes. Only CBS, 1st and 10. Nail it going for Hopkins. What a great defensive play by Trufant. Sensational play.
Well, they get the matchup they want, one-on-one. You see Trufant matched up on DeAndre Hopkins, and I think a better throw may get it done. You see Hopkins, he has to slow down and come back for this one. These corners for Atlanta have really done a nice job so far this game.
Trufant has only allowed 3 receptions all season. They've thrown at him 9 times. 2nd down, 10. Foster, fumble. It's picked up by who else? Trufant. Touchdown. Well, when you haven't played a snap all season until today, you're going to be a bit rusty, and Foster showed it there.
And Atlanta talked about this. He carries the ball away from his body a little bit. You're right, Kevin, when you don't play, you're not used to the speed of the game. But what actually happens here is his right tackle is going to knock this ball loose. Keep an eye right here on the right tackle. Newton. As he comes back inside, he actually hits the right arm of Arian Foster. He never anticipates it. And it's an easy scoop up and score for Desmond Trufant. Right there, it's almost as if he tried to knock it out. I don't know what he was thinking. In fact, that may make my What Was He Thinking segment on NFL Monday QB.
I'll be watching
on Monday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern.
The Atlanta coaches told us about this on Friday. Bryant with an extra point, 21-0. In his return after being injured August 3rd, Trufant vacuums it in, takes it 24 yards the other way. A big defensive play for the Falcons, who are crushing the Texans early in Atlanta on CBS. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and before today's game, the Falcons honored breast cancer survivors and fighters. The national anthem sung by the Shades of Pink Choir, while 50 breast cancer survivors held a pink ribbon. Join the fight against breast cancer. Learn more about a Crucial Catch Day on October 13th. Find out how you can help make a crucial catch at NFL.com/pink. Pink worn by the players, by the fans. A wonderful initiative, again, by the NFL. And a very innovative defense so far for the Falcons, who have really clamped on to Houston. They have forced 2 turnovers and 2 punts in the Texans' 4 possessions.
Well, they need to crank things up offensively, Kevin. I think the up-tempo, no-huddle approach seemed to help them last week, especially early in that game against the Buccaneers. Need to get something going on this drive.
Bosher knocks it all the way to Alfreda on that kickoff, and here is a look at the offense today for the Texans.
Pretty ugly when you look at what they've done so far in the first half. The turnovers, struggles on 3rd down, the penalties. I think it's important as you look at what they have to do moving forward here behind 21-0 Bill O'Brien. It's important to structure a game plan around what the quarterback's comfortable with and what he does well. And I really think Mallett's a guy that likes to jump the ball, being that no-huddle, that up-tempo approach. They need to do more of that here in the second quarter.
Foster is in, gets the fake. Good block by Jones, and that's a pass intended for the tight end. With coverage on the play by Alford, they were looking for the tight end, Graham. Incomplete, 2nd down and 10. How do you evaluate Mallett as he is just starting now in full flower this year?
Well, he's a big man with a big arm, Kevin. He can make all the NFL caliber throws. He has the arm strength, I think, to take advantage of coverage breakdowns. He does struggle to reset his body with balance when he's forced to move in the pocket. He's not a very good thrower outside the pocket, or really out of rhythm. I think pressure in the pocket causes him some problems. He needs a clean pocket to really succeed in this offense.
There is our delay with Nate Washington holding on. You can see to the back of that right leg, maybe a hamstring. It was on the near side. Working on Phillip Adams.
Oh, you can tell.
Oh, wow.
Right hamstring. Oh, you hate to see that.
It's his 148th consecutive game played today. He's played for the Steelers, the Titans, now in his first year as a Texan.
Yeah, you can see the frustration. KG veteran who knows what to do in critical situations will miss him.
2nd down, 10, 2 tight ends. Foster. He's dancing a bit. He's forced outside here by William Moore. And he runs to about the 24. Let's give him a gain of 4 after groin surgery in early August, coming back with his first carries of the season today.
Yeah, and he just needs to find his rhythm in the offense and get used to the speed of the game. And he's one of those backs that seems to get stronger as the game goes along, but they're going to have to be smart with him and really monitor his workload and make sure they don't overdo it the first time out.
3rd down, long 5. Into the nickel. Mallett, nice catch made right there by Mumphrey, just his 3rd of the season. He had some coverage there from a couple, including Beasley. The end, it's a gain of 9. He's up to the 33, and it is a 1st down for the Texans.
These are some of the most difficult catches, the low and away ones as you're running across the field. Terrific job there by Mumphrey.
The tight end moves. That flag will be on Houston.
88, offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
There goes Washington. That is not a good sign. You saw him holding that leg, and early guess is there for the veteran in his 11th season, hamstring. So Mumphrey, who is, as we said before, from Vienna, Georgia, will be taking his place, and he is the rookie from Michigan State. Normally returns kickoffs. 1st and 15. There he is. Five in the Falcons secondary.
Oh, delay game.
Sure is. There's another flag. You saw it, Rich.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, Mallett knew it. He's clapping. He's trying to get the attention of Ben Jones, the center.
Houston called a timeout. Their 1st of the half.
Bryan trying to settle down his quarterback.
Look at Mallett directing traffic. Now you see him clapping. He's trying to let his center know that he wants the ball. And now, quickly.
Bill Belichick drafted him in the 3rd round when he was coming out of Arkansas for the New England Patriots.
Yeah, they really liked him, and he got a chance to go in there his first 4 years and really learn from behind the master, Tom Brady. And he got a chance to work with Bill O'Brien and George Godsley, so he's very familiar with this system that the Texans run.
Foster on 1st and 15, nickel secondary, and trying to find some room, and Bartu is there. It's just a gain of 2, and he's up to the 29.
Well, the big challenge, I think, for Mallett, Kevin, this isn't a game without mistakes, but at the quarterback position, you have to keep yours to a minimum. And that's really the challenge for him. He can't start pressing behind 21-0, trying to fit balls into tight windows. He's got to be patient, go through his reads and his progressions, and trust the system.
Foster wide, 2nd down, 13 for Mallett. Plenty of time. Zeroing in, he's got his receiver. That's Hopkins. who picks up 10. He's up to the 40. Let's take you to New York and James Brown.
Eli spreading it around.
Yeah, man, everybody's getting involved in the party. He's going to drop back and find Ruben Randall for the 11-yard touchdown pass. New York up 16-3 in Buffalo. Shocker.
Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon.
And after the Bills played so well in Miami last week.
They're struggling a little bit right now defensively.
3rd and 3. 5 defensive backs. Mallett got the block from Jones and Ibushi, and that's incomplete to Hopkins. And the coverage right there from Robert Alford, who opposing quarterbacks have been picking on, but he plays well there.
When we think about Atlanta playing so much zone coverage, they've really come out and played a lot of man-to-man against the Houston Texans. And I think it's caught them by surprise. Just in talking with the Texans last night, they were anticipating a lot of zone coverage, which is what they saw on film the first 3 weeks from the Falcons.
Weems retrieving the Leckler punt. Landed at the 23, and you see it bounce out of bounds, and of course over 4-8 on the hang time. That gives those guys a chance to get down there. 42-yard punt. Here's Watt. You've been studying him a lot.
Yeah, and he's never in one place, Kevin. They do such a great job moving him around. You'll see him in his normal position, that left defensive end position. You see Carolina, they're going to double team him. They're going to try and get after him and attack him at the line of scrimmage. Then you see the Kansas City Chiefs in week 1. What are they going to do? They're going to triple team him. They use the right tackle, the left guard, and Jamal Charles to take the edge off of him. And it's amazing what teams have done because of the production right there. 55.5 sacks in his last 52 games.
It's 1st and 10. This is Devontae Freeman. Eating Cushing. Also hit on the play by Max Boa. Just called off the practice squad. No gain on the play. So the Atlanta Falcons have gotten 2 long touchdown runs by Freeman, one of 16, one of 23. The Houston Texans have had it 5 times, 3 punts, 2 turnovers, interception and fumble.
Well, you know, it's always important to win the battle in the trenches. And to me right now, I think the Falcons are winning the battle up front offensively. They're doing a great job attacking down the middle of this defense, and they're doing a really nice job cutting off the backside, making it difficult for Watt and Clowney to make plays off the edge.
Ryan looks into the nickel. 2nd down and 10. Freeman. He got a block up front from Person, the center. Cushing tracked him down, and a gain of about 9 in the play for Freeman. They'll spot him at the 26.
When you talk about the zone run scheme, everybody's trying to get angles. And they do a great job on the backside cutting off. Look at the backside center, guard. They're all getting up on the 2nd level, getting hats on those linebackers and safeties. And Freeman, he's just looking for a gap. He's a guy that wants to bounce runs to the edge, but he's gotten a lot better and being more patient, staying on his course and hitting it upside.
You saw Kyle Shanahan. Demps made that last tackle. 3rd down and 2. Freeman in the backfield. A lot of congestion, but he finds Julio Jones. Brought down by Jonathan Joseph. The gain to the 32. He picks up 6, Rich, on 3rd and 2. Converts another 1st down for Atlanta.
Well, keep an eye on the left tackle, Matthews. He's going to go ahead and cut J.J. Watt. And these defensive ends, Kevin, they hate that. They hate when guys go down at their legs. But you have to change it up with a player like J.J. Watt. We just showed you teams doubling them and tripling them, then you cut them. Team them with the back, chip with the back.
Still 5 in the secondary, 1st and 10, Freeman. Not a lot there. Demps again with a bunch, making the stop. Also merciless, gain of 2, up to the 33.
I was a little surprised by the Houston defense last week. Not a single sack against the Buccaneers. Kind of unusual, especially when you take into consideration they were going up against the rookie quarterback in Jameis Winston. Romeo Crennel's a guy that likes to bring pressure. They're having a difficult time right now getting to Matt Ryan. Ryan 11 of 17 already for 103 yards in this one.
Watch this 2nd quarter, because that defense of Houston has been outscored 32-3 in the 2nd quarter. 2nd down, 9. DeMarco Flair. There's the catch. Roddy White knocked down on the play by Kevin Johnson. It is a gain of 4. White is up to the 36.
And the problem right now for this defense, Kevin, is they've been on the field too long. I mean, Atlanta is absolutely dominating time of possession right now.
Almost 129 plays to 20 plays for the Texans.
Yep, almost twice the time of possession, and that's begins to wear down a defense. Need a stop here on third down.
Teron Ward is the running back. Still the nickel, 3rd and 5. Ryan, first down catch. Hankerson, the former Redskin, brought down by Jackson. He's got the first down, backpedaling to the 44, picks up 6. They move the chains.
Well, they bring pressure, but Matt Ryan gets it out quick. Houston, they bring a lot of pressure, especially on third down.
Ryan is so confident in the pocket, never seems to get rattled by anything around him.
He doesn't panic. As a quarterback, when all around you is in chaos, you have to be the hand that steadies and steers the ship, and he does that as well as anybody.
Romeo's got his hands full today, 1st and 10.
Can't have a panic button and play quarterback in this league.
Ryan again, incomplete. Looked like the ball was directed outside. Freeman cut inside. Cushing on the coverage, 2nd and 10. All right, coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher with the latest news, scores, and highlights. And a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. That's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. A lot of busy guys in there getting up early, watching the game from Wembley Stadium in London earlier today, which the Jets won over Miami. Very turbulent time for the Dolphins. 2nd down and 10. Oh, he's got him! Freeman busted coverage. Downfield he goes. Demps is there. A catch and run to the Texan 12. A beauty by Freeman. Great read by Ryan. 44-yard catch and run. 1st down.
Well, they get confused and they don't even cover the back out of the backfield. You've got Toilolo and the receiver working inside. Looks like a communication breakdown. The linebackers get confused and Freeman finds himself running wide open down the boundary.
Freeman will rest. Ward is in. 1st and 10. Teron Ward looking for some blocking, and he staggers down to the 5. A burst. No give-up attitude by this rookie free agent out of Oregon State, Teron Ward. It's a gain of 7.
You know what Ward's saying, Kevin? Give me some of that. Give me some of this action.
I don't blame him. They're feasting so far on the Texans. 2nd down and 3. Ward. Good looking block, Toilolo, and down 2 with the Simon tackle, the 2, and very close to a 1st down. Toilolo is out of Stanford. Nice blocking ahead. Here comes Freeman back in.
You know, I've really been impressed with this Atlanta offensive line. You know, you think about Matt Ryan, Kevin, he played behind a substandard offensive line the past few seasons. Rarely did he play from a clean pocket, yet he still completed 66% of his passes. He was hit and sacked way too much, and that's one of the first things they did in the offseason on offense was to address this offensive line. So much more athletic and quicker up front.
3rd and 1. Ryan has thrown in all 7 third downs faced by the Falcon offense today.
Here comes pressure.
Freeman is in. He'll do it again. Touchdown. Hankerson. Ryan has thrown his first touchdown pass today. Hankerson catches that 3-yard throw.
Well, he's going to get a lot of pressure. So what does he do? He just throws a little inside underneath route to Leonard Hankerson. It's a good adjustment on the fly by Matt Ryan.
This is getting ugly early. Bryant, 28-0. Hankerson with the touchdown reception. It's his 2nd of the year. And it comes down deep in Texan territory with a corkscrew move for 6.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Destiny, the Taken King. Become legend. Available now.
Some pretty color here in soggy downtown Atlanta. Nothing soggy about the performance of the Falcons. They've gotten a couple turnovers from the Texans. They've gotten 2 rushing touchdowns from Freeman, a short touchdown pass. Ryan to Hankerson, everything going the way of their coach, Dan Quinn, coming off a wonderful win on the road last week at Dallas.
Well, they're really doing a terrific job playing complementary football. Defense has been terrific. Offense very opportunistic, and they've been sound in the kicking game.
Mumphrey lets it fly over his head. Touchback to the 20-yard line. Quinn comes from Seattle. He was the defensive coordinator. And he's not only brought the football knowledge, but he's really unified this team, unified the staff.
Yeah, it's all about competition. And they're really still in that teaching and learning phase. And as he told us on Friday, they're really going to get better. Really on both sides of the ball. They're just in year 1 of the systems. But I like the fact, Kevin, that he didn't lose connection with the players. He still spends time on Wednesday and Thursday with the defensive line, after practice with the practice squad players. Terrific football coach.
With Alfred Blue in, Fedorowicz, and that is fumbled, and who's there? Trefant. 3rd turnover on that 1st and 10. Trefant scooped one up, ran back for a touchdown earlier on a fumble recovery. This one on a hit on the tight end, Fedorowicz out of Iowa. Falcons take over.
Well, watch William Moore. He does a terrific job. You talk about a textbook tackle. He lowers his shoulder. He puts his right shoulder right on the football. Fedorowicz actually has 2 hands on the ball. It's just such an explosive hit by the safety, William Moore. And they really stress tackling. I was blown away when they said that, Kevin, on Friday, when they do their installs, they install 10 different tackling techniques each week.
I've never heard that before.
It's amazing. They talk about who's vulnerable when they carry the football. They talk about being a leverage tackling team. It's really amazing. That's why they're so technically sound when you watch them play defensively.
1st and 10, Freeman. Wrapped up right there by Justin Tuggle. And no gain there. Of course, Tuggle, his dad Jesse, will be honored at halftime, and he was before the game. He said, when growing up, I used to sit in the 1st row at the 50-yard line and back of the Falcons bench. I could see my dad. I could hear my dad, and it's an honor to come back and play on the field where he played so well.
I played against his dad, Kevin. He was a terrific player. We saw him before the game on the field. It looks like he could still play.
He does.
He's taking great care of himself. He was a terrific player for all those years with Jerry Glanville and those great Falcon defenses.
It's 2nd down and 10. Oh, patted down. That's the 2nd one by Watt today. That's right, JJ, just about there. He had touchdowns last year. Remember, he had interceptions for touchdowns. He had 3 receiving touchdowns last year. He was amazing.
I don't know that there's a defensive player in football that's as instinctive. He gets his hands up, Kevin, so quickly. He's mad that he didn't make the interception. This is a guy that can score with the football. We saw that last year from him, not only on offense, but on defense as well.
He's been durable, too. Today, his 68th consecutive start. Ward in the backfield, 3rd and 10. Ryan has thrown on every 3rd down today, including the last one where it was a touchdown. That's caught by Hankerson. Hit by Cushing. Whacked on the play by Jackson. It's a gain of 7 on 3rd and 10. He'll be a little bit shy. Jackson a little bit shaken up on the play. By the way, Ward Demps is being looked at. He's got a hamstring. And Nate Washington offensively for the Texans out for the game with a hamstring. Watt, nice job on that series. 2-minute warning. He is awful happy. That's Tammy's number, but I think they got Crumpler. Yeah, it's Crumpler's old jersey.
Oh, yeah. How about
Although there's
that?
a new 83 in town. Tammy was not playing. He was concussed last week, going through the protocol, not ready today. There's a punt coming up from Matt Bosher. This will be his shortest punt of the season. He's going to put some spin on this baby. Let's see if it gets the English he wants. It does indeed.
No, that wasn't his shortest punt of the season.
41. Well, hold on.
Hold on. The shortest punt of the entire season has been 43 yards. Pat, how long?
41.
Oh, jeez. Hate being wrong.
Would you not second guess? I'll tell you what, this Bosher who kicks off
terrific.
and punts, he's something else. They got a great 1-2 combination.
He's never had a punt return for a touchdown. That's great hang time.
Where'd you get all this information?
Pat McGrath.
Well, now, marooned. Mallett's got a lot on his plate. Foster was in, 1st and 10, looks it over, incomplete. Mumphrey was trying to curl in there. 2nd down and 10. Ryan Mallett from Texarkana. He asked what it was like to play with Brady. He said, hey, what was it like being around Tom Brady?
He said that he appreciated the grind, the fact that Brady came in every day. Kevin was the first guy in, the last to leave, and he worked so hard. He was always prepared. It's a great mentor for a young quarterback like Mallett.
Washington again out with the hamstring, so it's 2nd down and 10. Mumphrey takes his place, a little congested in there. The aforementioned Mumphrey with the catch right in front of Alford. And he's out to the 15, picks up 13 yards, and that's a 1st down for the Texans.
This is what I like. Saw a lot of this last week against Tampa Bay. I just think he's more comfortable when he's in control.
Mumphrey with the catch. That is his 2nd today. 1st and 10. He's got some time, and again he goes low, and again he looks for his receiver, and this time it's running back Arian Foster who picks up 8. And he's up to the 23. Foster's almost as deadly catching the ball, Rich, as he is running the ball.
Yeah, and Foster's telling him to get the ball up a little bit. And that's the thing with Mallett, Kevin. You want to get these backs and receivers and tight ends into the transition of the run. A throw like that, you may pick up 8 yards. If you get it to him where he can catch it and turn and make a guy miss, it may be 18 or 20 yards. He's got to work on his accuracy.
Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowers. Scores, highlights, and news from this Week 4. And a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report from our CBS studios in New York. Look at J.J. Watt.
Need to put him in at tight end.
They should.
Right?
He's deadly on both ends of the ball. 2nd down and 2. After the timeout, Texans have 2 left. Mallett going deep. He's looking for Mumphrey, and flag was thrown. The coverage on the play by rookie Jalen Collins out of LSU.
Offside, number 44 defense. That 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
Now that's the rookie from Clemson, and the all-time sack leader there, Vic Beasley Jr.
Well, they didn't have that one dominant pass rusher last year, and that's why they drafted Vic Beasley out of Clemson. Bierman actually led the Falcons with 4.5 sacks last year.
It's a 1st and 10, Mallett. Right on the screws, Hopkins, and brought down on the sideline by Collins. A good-looking throw. The catch to the 47 of Atlanta. He picks up 25 and a 1st down.
Really nice little route here by Hopkins. You see him working on the corner, just patient at the top of his stem.
Here's the first play for the Texans. Run in Falcon territory. Inside. And the catch right there by Cecil Shorts III. A gain of 5 to the 42. The tackle by Trufant.
I don't know if he catches that or
not.
not.
I guess now they've waved it off. You're right. He was. One official said yeah, one said no, and one was overruled by the other.
Desmond Trufant comes in. He's in his 2-deep coverage. He just drives on Cecil Shorts, and you see this ball come out. Well, maybe it doesn't hit the ground. Hard to tell.
Well, you can't challenge inside 2. We'll see if they change it upstairs. Kareem Jackson walking out. Dempsey's already gone. They're looking at his hamstring. And Jackson looks a bit woozy as he goes to the locker room. 2nd down, 10, Mallett. It's caught there by DeAndre Hopkins, who picks up 5 on the play, and he's down to the 37. He should be close to a 1st down.
This is good to see. You can just tell Ryan Mallett's finding his rhythm a little bit, Kevin, in the passing game. Doing a good job stepping up under control.
1st and 10, Mallett. Good time with it. Blocked by Brown. That was underthrown, and almost William Moore was able to scoop it in. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
What looked like he got confused there. Thought maybe the tight end was going to sit up the seam. See him making the correction.
Well, they begin this drive, Rich, on the 2 with a look at George Godsey. He has a New England background as well. They began this on the 2. Mumphrey for 13, Hopkins for 25. Foster caught one for 8. Second down and 10. Mellon swung over the head of Mumphrey, who found a lot of coverage deep, including from Thurese. Third down and 10.
Well, Mallett's not shy. He's willing to push the ball down the field. He's aggressive. But I think sometimes, Kevin, footwork and accuracy go hand in hand. And as he told us last night, it's really important for him not to overstride. When he begins to overstride, the ball begins to sail.
Texans have turned it over 3 times. Falcons have gotten a defensive touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 1 through the air. Third and 10. Foster. He gets by Adams. He's chased by Warlow, and out of bounds he runs. He stops the clock. The gain to the 35 of Atlanta. He picks up 2 on 3rd and 10. It's 4th and 8, and they are going to send out the field goal unit just before halftime.
Try out their new kicker,
Nick Novak. Yeah. Signed him this week. Bullock had missed a couple of PATs and a field goal against Tampa. If he makes this field goal, it will tie a career long. It's a 50, well, they say 52. We got 53 right here. What is it? It's a 53-yard field goal try. Novak just signed. The 34-year-old is short and wide.
Welcome to town.
Yeah.
Well, he's made some big kicks in his career, and as Bill O'Brien told us last night, he's not scared. It's like a good snap and a good hold. He knew right away he didn't get it.
So special teams issues continue for the Texans.
Bill O'Brien said something interesting last night, Kevin. Excuse me. He said 88% is the number that they're kind of looking for field goal percentage. And he said Nick Novak is about 81.6. If you got a guy at 88, you got a really good one, or north of 88. But anything under 88, you got to be careful.
Wow, what a first half. Freeman with 2 touchdown runs. Ryan a 3-yard touchdown pass. Trufant a fumble recovery and a 24-yard return for a touchdown. Bill O'Brien's got a lot on his plate as he is being whacked 28-0. And Dan Quinn and the Falcons are looking to go to 4-0 for the first time in a couple years when they began 8-0. We'll take a break, then take you to New York for the Verizon Halftime Report. First, a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. Another burst, another broken tackle, another Atlanta touchdown. It's picked up by who else? Trufant. Touchdown. Falcons, a spotless first half taking on the Houston Texans. We're at the half. We're going to go to the third as we right now take a look at the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. Foster the fumble. We just saw Trufant take it to the house. So Arian Foster, as he makes his return after early August surgery with the NFL MVP Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. No turnovers, plus 19 minutes of possession time for the Falcons. I mean, a flawless first half.
Yeah, Atlanta's looked really good, Kevin. On the other side of it, if you're Bill O'Brien, I think you're passing out some smelling salts in the locker room at halftime. This group needs to wake up. I mean, it's an ugly first half performance for the Houston Texans on offense. 3 turnovers. They're just 1 of 6 on 3rd down. They need to wake up. Defensively, I don't even recognize the effort and performance that I've seen from the Texans defense. I think for Atlanta offensively, they need to keep pouring it on. When you have a 28-0 lead at the halftime, it's not time to pump the brakes. I think you need to continue to stay aggressive. And finally, defensively, the Falcons need to stay the course. Trust your fundamentals, trust your instincts and your techniques, and rally to the football. But Houston has to find a way to disrupt Matt Ryan. He was terrific in the first half.
Watt had a sack, had a couple deflections, which will be called passes defended. We start the second half. Mumphrey, he'll take it and leave it in the end zone. And through 30 minutes of football, Rich, here are some of the numbers from the Georgia Dome this afternoon.
Well, it's tough, Kevin, when you go on the road and turn it over 3 times in the first half. Arian Foster puts it on the ground. Fedorowicz, the tight end. Mount has an interception. And you just don't give yourself a chance to win when you have those unforced errors. But Atlanta's a good team. This is a new half. Ryan Mallett needs to turn the page and come out here in the second half and try and build off of this performance and try and get back in this game.
The Texans have 7 possessions, 3 turnovers. Everything else was a punt, then the missed field goal of 53 as we went to halftime. Foster, held, and Hageman brings him down. Oh, there go the flag. 1, 2, 3 flags, and a loss of 3 on that 1st and 10 to the 17. I think he got him either in the face mask or a horse collar. Either way, the 2nd-round pick out of Minnesota made his presence felt.
Personal foul, face mask, number 77 defense, 15-yard penalty automatic. First down.
Well, you see him right there in the middle of your screen. He's going to get penetration. He just grabs the face mask of Arian Foster. He goes right to the ground. A dangerous play. You see Foster's neck get whiplash like that.
Bushi is in at the guard. Suafilo got in there in the first half and did not look good. It's Mallett. That is dropped by Foster, who has also fumbled today on that play.
Well, look at that first half report card, Kevin. Pretty ugly. Interception, punt, fumble, punt. See some 3 and outs, 2 and outs. Not very good, and plenty to get cleaned up. They were awful on 3rd down, as I mentioned, just 1 of 6. They haven't had the production that they need on the early downs.
It's 2nd down and 10. Nate Washington is out with a hamstring. Mumphrey taking his place. Mallett with time, and down the field he goes. Nice catch. Mumphrey in traffic. He had Trufant, and there's a flag, and it's going to be on Atlanta with a shot to the helmet, a 26-yard pickup as it stands now to the 39 of the Falcons.
Well, Ryan Mallett really gets a chance to show off his arm strength here, Kevin. He actually starts to his left and wheels all the way back
There's no
around.
foul for unnecessary roughness on the play. The hit was legal. First down, Houston.
But it was jarring, that for sure.
Yeah, he's just going to throw the poster out the top of the screen, but watch his eyes. He's going to start to his left initially, resets himself, and just drills one right up the seam to Mumphrey.
Farisi, the rookie free agent out of Auburn, was bringing the wood from the 39, 1st and 10. Foster is in, gets the call, pulling block by Newton, and not a lot there. You can see the scrum into the pile with a gain of 3 by Arian Foster to the 37-yard line of Atlanta.
When you look at the Texans, Kevin, their offensive line, haven't had a lot of continuity up front for George Godsey. So many changes. I believe the only player that has started every game is Ben Jones at the center position. Look at the changes at left guard, right tackle. That affects everything you do, not just in terms of the running game, but the communication. It's been a problem so far for the Texans.
2nd down and 8. 4 in the secondary for Atlanta. Mallett. Almost picked off. He spun Hopkins around. Coverage on the play by Alford. He was right there. 3rd and 8 coming up. Poorly thrown pass in back of him.
Yeah, I say it all the time. Footwork and accuracy go hand in hand. You can't miss this glance route on the back shoulder of a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. It's too difficult of a catch.
And Hopkins, one of the better young receivers in the NFL.
He's a talented player, Kevin. He can really go get the ball.
Mallett, 3rd and 8. In the secondary, this is Foster who tries to dig his way in. Had to get to the 29 for a first. He picks up 5 on 3rd and 8. It'll be 4th and a couple to go.
Well, you ask yourself, if you're sitting at home and why they run the ball on 3rd and 8 with a conversation between Bill O'Brien and George Godsey before the play was we're in 4-down territory and we're going to go for it on 4th down. That's why you run the ball there in that situation.
This is the deepest penetration for the Texans all day. 4th and 3. Foster is in. Newton the block at the right tackle. That's thrown in back of Foster. With the coverage on the play by Jacklo Bartu. On downs, the Texans and Mallett turn it over.
Well, you cannot miss this throw. It's just a little angle route out of the backfield to Arian Foster. Part of the problem, Kevin, is this the first time that they've played together. And when you don't practice, you don't have the timing and the rhythm in the passing game.
Falcons have 2 rushing touchdowns, a defensive touchdown, and a short touchdown pass. One of 7 unbeaten teams coming in at 3-0. They've beaten the Eagles, the Giants, and the Cowboys coming from behind, Rich, in all 3 wins.
Yeah, terrific start for Dan Quinn and his football team, Kevin. And 75% of the teams that have started 3-0 since 1990 have made the playoffs.
DeMarco, the tight end, is in. On downs, Houston turns it over. 1st and 10, Freeman. DeMarco a block. And Freeman, who's got touchdown runs of 16 and 23, works for 5 right there. Brought down by a couple on the play, including Pleasant. They put him at the 37.
There's a lot of teams that talk about running the football, but you have to make a commitment to doing it, and I think that's what they're doing here in Atlanta with Kyle Shanahan. They've addressed the offensive line. Clearly, you can see this is a more talented group, a group that can run, and you've got some backs that are hungry for the football. It's a good situation here with the Falcons.
With a 2nd down and 5, a block into Clowney by DeMarco. Freeman again sent outside. He was hit, brought down by McKinney with a gain of a yard to the 39. The Falcons in the first half, Rich, no turnovers, plus 19 minutes of possession and 14 points off of 3 Texan turnovers.
Yeah, they really took advantage of some opportunities, and I thought they had a clean first half performance. They did a nice job running the football. Ryan was very efficient, especially on 3rd down. And they took care of the ball, Kevin. That's the big thing. You don't turn the ball over in this league, and you give yourself a chance to win each week.
They've gone to 5 in the secondary for the Texans. 3rd down and 3. Ryan Hankerson, room to roam. And the former Redskin will be brought down from behind by Daryl Morris. It's a catch and run to the 5. Big time completion of 56 yards. Ryan to Hankerson.
Well, if you're going to dance and you're going to pressure, you've got to make sure that you've got answers. You're going to see Hankerson. He runs a little delay route. He's going to go underneath the tight end. You get a natural pick or rub, and Hankerson's off to the races.
Drafted by the Redskins.
Woo, that's fast.
He has got some legs out of Miami. He's caught 5 today, all on 3rd down. He's got to catch his breath. 1st and goal. Freeman. Oh, he gets through again for his 3rd touchdown run this afternoon. Lets the center's person spike it. 6-yard touchdown run by Devontae Freeman. Hankerson got him in the great position with the 56-yard catch and run.
Yeah, you're just going to see he's going to wind it all the way to the backside. Nice job at the point of attack. You're going to see the tight end come down. The fullback does a nice job kicking out. Well, they've done a really nice job being in unison with the blocking scheme up front for Devontae Freeman.
6 touchdown runs in less than 2 full games for Freeman.
I never saw this coming, Kevin. It's never anticipated this game would get away from the Houston Texans this quickly.
Bryant makes it 35-0. Texans getting steamrolled on plays like this. A long 56-yarder to Leonard Hankerson. And then Freeman knifing his way in for 6 for the Falcons.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football. And by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
3 rushing touchdowns. Getting clobbered. Hoyer is or has been warming up. Looking, I don't know if they're going to make a change, Rich, but you get that feeling.
Yeah, usually when you put the helmet on, you jump on the exercise bike, something's coming. And Kevin Houston's trying to figure out this quarterback position. They're looking for a long-term solution. It's so difficult for Bill O'Brien and his staff when you have to play with multiple quarterbacks throughout the season. We saw that last year. They were able to win 9 games, and yet they played with 4 different quarterbacks.
Now he's going to change quarterbacks for the second time in less than 4 games into the season. And about 4 yards deep, Keith Mumphrey will take it. He's hit and spun around, and one of the initial hits right there put on him by rookie Jalen Collins.
Well,
24-yard return. Here comes Mallett.
Yeah, he may get one more series, Kevin, and that may have been the conversation that Bill O'Brien had with him on the sidelines. Say, look, I don't want to take you out of this game. We're struggling a little bit, but you got to do something. And if you don't, Brian's going in. Bill O'Brien's a guy that trusts his instincts. He told us he made the switch in week 1 because he really felt like the team needed a spark.
What is this?
Alfred Blue is in. And a 1st and 10. Not a lot there. Jumping on his back. Grady Jarrett, the rookie out of Clemson. Gain of 1 to the 21. We take you to New York. And James Brown.
Bart, this is when you know everything's going your way.
Yeah, man. JB. Jonathan Stewart's going to take it up the middle and fumble. Ed Dixon's going to get it in stride, a.k.a. Johnny on the spot. Catches the fumble, takes it in 57 yards. JB, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Carolina leads 24-10.
Oh, boy. Back to Kevin and Rich.
Guys, what a mess. The Bucs are 0-9 at home under second-year coach Lovie Smith. This would make it 0-10.
Mallett, 2nd down, 9, going for Hopkins deep. And he had Trufant on one side and Therizi on the other. 3rd and 9. Trying to loosen up the hold they've got.
They're struggling right now, Kevin. They're just really trying to find a way to make a 1st down.
Bill O'Brien told us when he makes these changes, when he makes moves, he looks in the players' eyes a lot, Rich, to see what their look is coming off the field.
Hey, he said he never got the indication that it was too much for a guy like Ryan Mallett or even for Brian Hoyer. But they're like a number of other teams out there right now, Kevin. They don't have a championship caliber quarterback, and it's really hurting them. It's holding them back.
6 defensive backs on the ricochet picked up by Polk. They were going for Hopkins on that 3rd and 9. The catch to the 28. He picks up 7. It's 4th and 2. And the Texans have decided to punt, and Mallett will trudge to the sideline again.
I think we'll see Hoyer the next series. You see Mallett, it's not his forte, making throws on the move.
Boy, Alford, a nice defensive play in the secondary for Atlanta.
Kevin, you've been calling his name out a lot today.
He's on it. Leckler, all-time gross leading punter in the history of pro football. Weems. Front tackle right there. Defensive back roll, and then he is taken down hard. Whacked by a couple, but Weeks and Bulla. 58-yard punt, 18-yard return, 35-0. Ryan back out there for the Falcons. Saturday, the SEC on CBS puts on the best game from the best conference as the Georgia Bulldogs take on the Tennessee Volunteers. It all begins with college football today. Dogs had a tough one yesterday against Alabama. Ryan Hoyer continues to warm up on the sideline, maybe a precursor of what we'll see the next possession for the Texans. Right now, it's the red-hot Matt Ryan. The unbeaten Atlanta Falcons with a 1st and 10 from their 30. Troy Lolo was in motion. Freeman gets the call. Clowney will jump on his back with a gain of 2 to the 32.
You know, coming into the game, Houston talked about keeping the lid on Julio Jones. He was the hottest receiver in football. And Kevin, for the most part, they've done a pretty nice job of that. Julio Jones has 4 catches for 38 yards. They've done a good job with their distribution. Hankerson has 5 catches. Freeman has 5 catches out of the backfield for 81 yards. He also has 68 rushing. Just not been able to get ahead in the down and distance.
Teron Ward is in as a back. 2nd down and 8. And this is Ward. Oh, we got a nice block from Matthews, and then takes it up past the 40-yard line. He's brought down by Eddie Pleasant, picks up 9, spot him at the 41, first down.
Well, just watch the blocking here. This is why you go out and draft a left tackle in the first round. Really nice job at the point of attack on Crick, just pushing him out of the way. He wasn't healthy a lot last year, Kevin, but he's a terrific player. Obviously, his dad, his uncles, comes from a long line of great players when you look at what Jake Matthews did not only at A&M, but he's done here early in his career for the Falcons.
From Missouri City, Texas. First and 10. Ward comes out of real estate, pulled down by Boyer. In fact, he loses a yard on the run outside. They'll put him at the 39.
Number 80 offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
On Levine Toilolo.
Really been,
look at Dan Quinn.
Really been impressed with what he has done, Kevin. I just think he's come in here, he's changed the culture and the environment. He's put together a great coaching staff. He's got players that have bought in. There's a lot of energy and enthusiasm. Even Friday's practice was unusual for you and I. We were in New England last week. It was up tempo. They had helmets and shoulder pads on. Friday's practice in Atlanta was more of a teaching tempo. No helmets, no shoulder pads. Very different than what we saw last week, but yet still effective.
Into the nickel, first and 20. Once again, Ward, he's gobbled up that time by Wilfork, along with Cushing. It's a gain of a yard to the 32. Yeah, you use that tempo, that teaching tempo term a lot on Friday.
Yeah, and I'm a guy that believes that on Friday you got to go full speed. You're not out there very long, and for the quarterback, you need that timing and rhythm with the short yardage and the red zone throws. And yet they went at a very controlled tempo, but yet today they come out, they're fresh, they look sharp, they've got a lot of energy. Guys are flying around making plays on both sides of the ball. Maybe he's on to something with that Friday practice tempo.
Williams becomes another wide receiver. Ward in the backfield. Second and 19. It goes into the nickel, and this is Ward. And he's got some room to go here. Cushing from behind. Raheem Moore lost his hat. It's a catch and run of 18 on second and 19 by the rookie free agent out of Oregon State, Teron Ward. Maneuvers well up near midfield.
This is a really difficult play to defend because you're going to see the back come out, and then he's just going to turn back around. So he gets caught up in the watch. It's actually a screen, but he's coming downhill, and then he catches the little inside screen, and the offensive line does a nice job creating a little window for him to kind of scoot out the back door.
3rd and 1 right here. They have not run on 3rd down all day. DeMarco, the fullback, is in with a couple of tight ends, and somebody moved. Toilolo again will be penalized.
False start, number 80 offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
3rd and 6 is a lot different than 3rd and 1.
No, they haven't had a lot of the mental errors today, and Toilolo makes the mistake there, Kevin. It's a costly one when you consider they were in the 3rd and 1 situation.
Freeman a breather. Coming from Seattle, you think that Quinn would insist on some certain things. He did. And in fact, he had his defensive coordinator adapt the Seattle way of defense as opposed to the way that he wanted to do it. But they believe in it so much here. 3rd and 6. Good block by Matthews. This is where Ryan is underrated. Sun is bearing down on him. He got the ball, and it was caught by Hankerson. Flag is down. Run out of bounds by Morris, down to the 41-yard line of Houston. 15-yard pickup. Let's see who they call that on, and there is a player down for the Texans at the 37-yard line. Like a linebacker.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 35 defense. That penalty is declined.
Pleasant.
Result of the play, first down.
So Pleasant is called. And that is Merciless. Merciless, by the way, was the one who really had the jarring hit on the punt return. Whitney Merciless is down. Injury timeout. We're in Atlanta.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sheraton, where actions speak louder. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
Merciless was down. He got hit beneath the belt and walked off under his own power. But they've already lost some significant defensive players today, including Kareem Jackson.
And they've got a short turnaround, Kevin. They've got to play on Thursday night.
We did not get word on why Jackson was taken out. That was back in the first half with the likes of Boye in right now. Also Eddie Pleasant. They line up with 4 in the secondary. The Texans do. It is a 1st and 10 after the long completion. Hankerson got the first. Teron Ward seeing a lot of action here. Oh, look at him zig and zag and take it into the secondary. Brought down by Moore. He's hit by McKinney. Racing for 14, down to the Texan 26.
Ward's look good as well. I'm talking about Freeman so much in the first half, and Ward's coming in. He's not a big back, Kevin. He's a shorter back, and sometimes those smaller guys get lost behind that big offensive line.
At the end of the play, unnecessary roughness, number 35, defense. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play, half the distance to the goal.
Now frustration.
First down.
They had Steven Jackson here, Rich, and that was more of a bulldozing type of player. Now they got these quick backs out of the backfield filling in with Kyle Shanahan's philosophy.
And an offensive coordinator that's committed to running the football, be it being a more balanced attack. And he's got 3 backs that are really talented. We've seen Ward. We know about Freeman, of course, Tevin Coleman. Kevin is getting close, maybe a week or 2 away from being back in the lineup.
So a 3-headed monster at running back, 1st and 10. And this is Ward. And a 1-yard loss. Watt stops him in his tracks at the 14-yard line. And on this drive, Ward has had a run of 9, a run of 13, catch and run of 18. Hey, never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play, every story, and every highlight, right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now at cbssports.com/mobile. Rich has got it. He gets a lot of his information, in fact.
You know it.
2nd down, 11. Nick Williams atop your screen. A couple tight ends. Schuler there at the bottom. The tight end. Ward, he got by Clowney. He gets a block from Matthews. He gets by Crick. And then he leaps out of bounds at the Texan 8. Picking up 7.
Well, Kevin, they can't stop the run, and you're just going to see they do a nice job sealing the edge on the top side, but Houston has no answer. Clowney can't get hooked. He's got to keep contained and force the back up inside. Right now, they're just pouring it on with the running game.
How about the length of this drive? Another 6-minute drive by Atlanta.
Well, they've been dominant. This is when it's fun to call plays.
3rd down and 5. Ward got another block inside, this time from Schrader. And he works his way in for another rushing touchdown for the Falcons. That was an 8-yard, hard-fought touchdown run by Teron Ward, his first rushing touchdown as a pro. He basically authored the drive, runs of 7, 9, and 13 yards, and a catch and run of 18.
Well, you're going to get the kick out, and you see the back. He's just going to hit it right up inside. Doing a great job. Look at the double team. The guard comes off on Cushing. He pushes him out of the way, and the back just does the rest. A lot of explosive runs against this Texans front 7.
I don't know if a team's been beaten this bad so far this year. Another point put on there by Bryant, 42-0. Under 3 to play in the 3rd. It's all Falcons. And it looks like they're going to 4-0 and staying unbeaten through the first quarter of the year. On Tuesday, the Atlanta Falcon rookies held a football camp for Hall County Special Education High School students. Players and students participated in football stations and drills in the gym at Johnson High School. Ward with a touchdown run. Freeman's got 3 of them. Defensive fumble return, touchdown by Trufant, and Hankerson caught a 3-yard touchdown pass. All Atlanta.
Might get a chance to see Sean Renfrey, the backup quarterback for Atlanta. He was warming up on the sidelines. There he is.
Well, you like the way he threw in practice on Friday.
The quarterback from Duke, played in David Cutcliffe's offense down there. The Blue Devils.
We're going to see another backup quarterback too, I think.
Yep.
7.
Well, former starter and a guy that I'm sure is anxious to get back in there and see if he can't win this job back.
Maybe reclaim his job. He won it in camp, as you just talked about, with more consistency.
Well, he hasn't played a lot either, Kevin. Just 17 career starts for Brian Hoyer, but he's a smart player. He's accurate. He's got a good understanding of this offense. He's tough. And I think he understands what his limitations are. He's not going to overpower you with his arm talent. He doesn't have the same arm that Mallett has, but he's a guy that they feel can function in the offense.
Brian Hoyer has played for 5 teams in 7 years, and the last couple years with Cleveland, where he was a starter. He did struggle late, though, last season. Last 5 games, poor decisions, very low passer rating. Anyway, here he is. Began the season, yanked against Kansas City opening weekend. He's got it 1st and 10 from his 20. He sends Polk wide, and he sends a pass upfield for Cecil Shorts. Incomplete, 2nd down 10. What about Mallett's afternoon?
Well, it was a rough afternoon for Ryan Mallett. Kevin just didn't get off to a good start. They struggled with his accuracy and his rhythm. Overthrew some players, and even 3rd down was a real problem for Mallett. He did, in fairness to Ryan Mallett, didn't get a lot of help. They didn't get the running game going. They fell behind early, but the turnovers were a big story. He had counted for 1, and of course Foster put it on the ground for Dorowitz.
Nice catch right there, 2nd and 10. Hopkins working into 4 defensive backs up to the Texan 36, and he picks up a 1st down with a 16-yard reception.
Well, that's the guy you got to get involved. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins has been quiet. Just 4 catches in this one.
Now they go to playing the linebackers back. You can see Warlow deep, still 4, 1st and 10. Fedorowicz, the tight end. Warlow makes the grab. Gain of 4, and they put him to the 40. Yeah, Houston, you mentioned this earlier. Houston's now in a short week, and they got a Thursday night game against Indy at home.
Well, and Indy has their own issues, Kevin. Andrew Luck not playing today, and he's been banged around. Tough on a short week. Although Brian told us last night he spent some time late Friday working and trying to get a head start on the Colts.
Polk is in the backfield and now in motion on his 2nd down and 6 for Brian Hoyer. Outside Cecil Shorts. He got by Bartu. And he's brought out of bounds by Phillip Adams across the way. With a catch and run to midfield, he picks up 10. Another 1st down.
A lot of times when you have a game like this, a lot of the focus and a lot of the blame is going to be on Ryan Mallett. Well, he didn't play well, they replaced him. But the fact of the matter is they have not played well around the quarterback. They haven't played well up front. Receivers have dropped some balls. They haven't run the ball effectively. Foster, he looks like he's rusty.
Going into 4 defensive backs, he gets Polk, the running back, who is hit on the play by Therizi. It's a gain of 11, and it's down to the Atlanta 39.
Well, this is what they need. They need somebody, whether it's Hoyer or Mallett, somebody to grab hold of this position. And you do that by going out, making plays, and being productive and consistent. They haven't had a lot of consistency, Kevin, at this position.
It's a 1st and 10 throw. Nice spinning catch there by Mumphrey. Grabbed by Bradford, a reserve linebacker. It's a gain of 8, and they're down to about the 30-yard line of the Falcons.
Well, you want to finish strong here. You want to, be able to come out of this game feeling a little bit better about yourself offensively. That's why this 4th quarter is going to be critical for Hoyer in this Houston offense.
Still 4 defensive backs for the Falcons. 2nd down and 2. And Polk remains. Got the block and finds some daylight to the 20. And brought down after a gain of 11 yards on the play as he runs right over Therizi, who is a rookie free agent out of Auburn, replacing the injured Ricardo Allen today.
Well, look at the tackle pull around. You're going to see the kick-out block. He's going to blow up the linebacker. Polk is able to cut right off his backside. It's nice when you have a big tackle that can go in there and clean things up inside.
Brian Hoyer has started 5 of 6. 4 DBs. Polk is wide, the running back. That's the end of the quarter. The score says it all. They've scored on the ground, they've scored through the air, and the Falcons have scored defensively. It's 42-0 as we go to the fourth quarter here at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Long drive by backup quarterback Brian Hoyer. Coach Bill O'Brien, who's changed quarterbacks here twice in the first 4 games. It is a 1st and 10. Drive started back at the 20. Hoyer, Hopkins, coverage by Adams.
Just ran out of room in the back of the end zone. Took too long to get that one up and down to DeAndre Hopkins. That's the thing, Kevin. You don't practice during the week. Ryan Mallett's getting all the work with the ones. These throws in this part of the field are the ones you miss the most because they're timing throws, they're anticipation throws. The ball has to come out of your hands quickly. And if you're just a split second late, I always say if you wait, you're late.
Looks into the nickel, 2nd down and 10. Polk. Good block by Brooks, and he's down to the 4. Close to a 1st down. Brought down by Kamal Ishmael.
Good looking run there by Chris Polk.
9-yard pickup.
Well, they've got something going now. Hoyer's come in, he's provided a spark, he's been sharp. 5 of 7 for 49 yards.
3rd and 1. Hoyer, Fedorowicz, touchdown. They work on southward. 5-yard touchdown pass.
You're going to see the tight end go right to the corner. The back's out to the flat. A high-low read for Brian Hoyer. Haven't had a lot of production from the tight end in this offense, but a nice throw and catch to Fedorowicz in the back of the end zone. Big target.
Hopkins had a reception for 16. That was about as big a play as they had. You take a look at Fedorowicz, the tight end from Iowa. 3rd-round pick. 2nd year in the league. As they continue to look at the scoring play in the replay booth, as they do with every scoring play. Did he hold on?
Looks like he did. Oops. Not showing us. Sneaky.
It's not conclusive. We'll see if it shows better here. It must. It's moving. And it was confirmed it is a touchdown reception. He
was able to squeeze it just enough.
Tell Des Bryant that.
A lot of confusion these days, Kevin, as to what's a catch in our league.
Nick Novak, 42-7. The Texans on the board. Fedorowicz with his first touchdown reception of the season. It's a 5-yard throw from Hoyer. Tonight on 60 Minutes, they look like they're from the future, but they're riding on our roads right now. Driverless cars on 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. Falcons have been driving on Bill O'Brien's defense all day long. That look right there does not look good.
I can't be pleased with the performance, Kevin. You work so hard during the week, you put together great game plans, you stay there late at night. Your team comes out and I don't know if you say they were flat. They just didn't get off to a good start. They got behind early.
Turnovers.
Never found the rhythm. Turnovers will do it. Hard to win this game when you have missed assignments, mental errors, and turnovers, especially on the road against a good team like Atlanta.
Novak has it teed up. The Falcons are anticipating an onside kick. Novak will drive it deep. Weems will leave it in the end zone for the Atlanta Falcons, who have been chewing up big chunks on the ground. Freeman, 3 rushing touchdowns, and Ward just got in.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new 2015 Acura TLX. It's that kind of thrill. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Pizza Hut. Bring home the flavor, only at Pizza Hut.
Well, like the Texans, the Falcons have changed quarterback Sean Renfree, who was 2 years out of Duke and a 7th-round pick. Have it first down and 10. Ward is in the backfield. Looking for a block right there from Chester. There wasn't much. It's a loss of 3. Simon, along with Watt, there back to the 17-yard line.
Well, look at Renfree, Kevin, a 3-year starter, a 2-time team captain at Duke. We talked about his coach, Coach Cutcliffe, who coached Eli Manning, coached Peyton Manning in college. He's more of a traditional drop-back passer. We know he can memorize a complex playbook. Went to Duke, you know. Probably had great ACT scores. A lot like you,
yeah,
right?
Exactly like you.
But what a great opportunity for him. You know, you play behind a quarterback like Matt Ryan, you don't get a chance to play a lot. You know, he's tough, he's durable, he doesn't miss snaps. Good opportunity for the young quarterback.
There is Ward on a 2nd down and 13, wrapped up by Jared Crick on a gain of 2 to the 19-yard line. Matt Ryan today, 19 of 27, a touchdown and no picks.
Yeah, he looked really sharp, Kevin. Not only in the pocket, but outside the pocket, touch throws. Did a good job sprinkling the ball around. Hankerson, 6 catches. Freeman had 5 catches. Julio Jones, kind of a slow day for him, just 4 catches for 38 yards, but they're not huge numbers for Matt Ryan, but yet very effective.
Ryan now has a streak of at least 250 passing yards in 11 consecutive games. That's the best in the NFL. Drew Brees second. In that, there's a 3rd and 11. Ward can't find much. And brought down by Merciless. He was taken off the last time we saw him back out there. Gain of about 2 on the play, 4th down. And the punting unit comes on for Atlanta.
Well, Kevin, you were talking about Matt Ryan. He's passed for at least 4,000 yards in each of the past 4 seasons. And, you know, I think that this offense has a chance to be really special. We know about their town on the perimeter. But now the emergence of this running game with some of these young backs, I think is going to make a huge difference in terms of their production offensively.
Josh Harris, the long snap, and Bosher the punt. Cecil Shorts. And they're in hot pursuit. DeMarco kind of forces him out of bounds as he runs across the way. It's a 1-yard return on a 55-yard punt. Hoyer will come back out. We're early in the 4th. All Falcons. Your weekend starts when the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans face off on Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. I told you earlier that luck did not start today for the Colts. Matt Hasselbeck did.
You know he's hurt, Kevin. He's a tough guy. He's tough as nails, and he doesn't miss starts. Nursing a shoulder injury. Unable to go today for the Colts.
The Texans coming off their first win of the season last week over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 19-9. We'll begin with their backup quarterback, or is he? Brian Hoyer. With the 1st and 10 last time, took him downfield, and they got a touchdown pass of 5 yards to the tight end for New Orleans. Shorts in motion, fake to him. Hoyer down the side, looking for the tight end, Graham. And the coverage on the play by Kamal Ishmael. 2nd and 10.
What a mess right now in Houston. Bill O'Brien's going to have to stand up at that podium after the game and see how frustrated he is.
If you can read lips, and if you watched Hard Knocks, you know exactly what is being said.
You have to answer questions about who his quarterback's going to be next week. You may not know.
2nd and 10. The hands of Polk. Incomplete.
They're making the easy plays right now, Kevin, look difficult.
Bradford with the coverage in the linebacking core for Atlanta.
This is just sloppy football. I mean, you got to make that catch. Can't short arm it. There is plenty of blame to go around.
Where he is upset.
And you can't put it all on that guy right there. He needs to play better, but everybody needs to play better.
got a 3rd down and 10, looks into the nickel. Caught by Shorts. Tackled on the play by Therese. The gain to the 38, picks up 14 and a Texan first down.
It's a good shot right here for Hoyer, right between the safety and the linebacker. He puts it on Cecil Shorts' upfield shoulder. Good throw there from Hoyer.
Down with a good block at the left tackle on a 1st and 10. That sails over the head of Shorts, who is covered by Therese downfield. 2nd and 10. Coming up, the Subway post-game show from New York. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cowher with scores, news, and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway post-game show. Watt deflected a couple of passes today, had a sack. 2nd down and 10. Bill O'Brien used to call the plays. Now George Godsey does. And Hoyer goes deep looking for Hopkins. He was tailed on the near side by Desmond Southward out of Wisconsin, 3rd-round pick last year.
You know, I had a coach one time when I was a rookie quarterback with the Vikings, and you know him well. He coached in Green Bay. Bob Schnelker. He was tough. And he said, I used to throw that go route and it would land out of bounds. He said, or guys would catch out of bounds. He'd say, never in the history of football has a ball that's been caught out of bounds ever counted. Keep it on the field. Give these guys a chance to make a play down the field. We saw Mallet throw one out of bounds earlier, Kevin, in the 1st half, and there's another one from Hoyer.
Into the nickel, 3rd and 10. Broadside to Shorts. He got a block from Humphrey. And then he is tackled by linebacker Alan Bradford out of USC with a catch and run of 13. They are into Falcon territory at the 49.
One thing I will say about Brian Hoyer, he's a tough guy. He's resilient. Things haven't come easy for him. He's found a way to put himself in a position where he's got a chance to compete.
Alfred Blue with a 1st and 10, tackled by Bradford. Slithers his way down to the 43 and picks up 6. With Blue, how about last week? Richie, you mentioned this earlier on. He carried 31 times against the Buccaneers, picked up 139 and a touchdown, and today limited usage.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
You go for 139 yards last week and a win, and you don't really get the rock in this one.
2nd and 4, Hoyer going deep, and he's got Shorts, who beats Adams, and he's down at the 1. Flag is down, 42-yard catch as it stands right now.
Really nice throw here by Hoyer, and you'll see the grab right there at the end from Phillip Adams, but terrific concentration, nice catch by Cecil Shorts.
Cecil Shorts was a signee from Jacksonville.
Wait, at the end of the day, Kevin, the one thing that Hoyer has done is he's come in and the team has responded to the change, and he's been able to move the football.
Defense, that penalties decline. Result of the play, 1st down.
Texans and every other team in the AFC South coming in at 1 and 2 today. All 1 and 2. 1st and goal at the 1. Hoyer's got a couple, in fact, 3 tight ends. Handoff, Blue, blocked by. Oh, what a hit! What a hit! Bradford drilled him. Hey, he's going to get some unexpected time. He's going to show what he can do.
When you emphasize fundamentals and techniques and you work on tackling every day in practice, that's what you get. That was a textbook tackle by Alan Bradford.
And you told us earlier on, Rich, that the tackling is game plan, the way they will tackle.
Yeah, they work on it. They look at backs, how they carry the ball. They talk about leverage tackling, forcing runners back up inside. They flow well to the football.
Watt is in. 2nd goal at the 1. He'll block here. It's Polk, and he's in for the touchdown. It's a 1-yard touchdown run for Chris Polk out of Washington. 1st touchdown of the year after spending 3 years in Philadelphia. Now he is a Texan. And Cecil Shorts was huge on that drive with a couple of 3rd down receptions and a 42-yard catch that took him to the 1.
It's good to see Ryan Mallett over there congratulating his teammates, staying in the game. Told us last night that quarterback room is a good one. Hoyer's been very supportive. He's supported Hoyer when Hoyer was the guy. And
they were teammates in New England together.
well, you need to have it. You need to have a good, healthy quarterback meeting room.
Novak, the extra point.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's, teaming up with the NFL like never before. And by Verizon. Watch live primetime games with NFL Mobile, only on Verizon.
The famous and heavily visited Civil Rights Museum here in Atlanta. This week on an all-new Late Show, it's Senator John McCain, and Tuesday, Stephen Colbert welcomes former President Bill Clinton. Don't miss it, only CBS. 2 consecutive scores by the Houston Texans have taken away the shutout being thrown by the Falcon defense. Touchdown pass of 5 yards with new quarterback Brian Hoyer to Fedorowicz. 1-yard touchdown run by Polk. And it is 42-14.
There's a good chance you see Brian Hoyer on Thursday night against the Colts.
Well, the momentum is in his way. We'll see if the change is made by Coach Bill O'Brien. Novak, little chipper. Roddy White, fair caught, raising his arm, and he got it at the 24. It'll be a 1st and 10. Well, the Falcons have had 2 recent 4-0 starts. In 2004, Michael Vick led the Falcons to an 11-5 record. An appearance in the NFC Championship game in 2012. 13-3, and they lost in the NFC Championship game to San Francisco. On their way to 4-0 again. And the Texans on their way to 1-3. Quarterback is Sean Renfrey. When he left high school in Scottsdale, Arizona, he was one of the top 10 high school quarterbacks in the country and chose Duke because of Coach Cutcliffe on 1st and 10. Goes off to the running back, Teron Ward. A couple there to bring him down, including linebacker McKinney, loss of a yard, and back to the 23.
Well, you know, Coach Cutcliffe is doing some good things at Duke. Kevin, they've won 19 games, I think, over the last 2 seasons. That's never happened before. And when quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and Eli Manning continue to come back to Durham in the offseason to work and train with him, you know he's doing something right.
That's a good point. And
Absolutely.
They do, don't they? They
every
offseason. Yeah.
And they go right back to the beginning. Taking the snap from center, working on getting away from the center, fundamentals and footwork. It's all about, and that's really what Dan Quinn has done early here in his tenure with the Falcons.
2nd down, 11. Watt still in there, tripped up the running back. Ward, gain of a yard, up to the 24. Bryce Harris is now playing the left tackle. In fact, they've got a lot of new guys on that line. James Stone is on that line now for the Atlanta Falcons. That may be one of the more underreported stories about the Falcons. Their starting line kind of put together as the preseason was unfolding, have really done a nice job to start the year.
Yeah, they just got Levitri in September, and Chester comes over, and got a new center. And yeah, they really have played well together.
Williams in motion, 5 in the Texans secondary, 3rd down and 10. It's Ward who breaks the tackle and is being chased in the secondary by Raheem Moore and gets the 1st down. Brought down by Justin Tuggle. He's out to the 37-yard line. He has a gain of 12, and they'll move the chains.
Kevin, these backs don't want to go down. You look at Ward, 5'7", 201 pounds, low center of gravity, but they all run so hard. And I like the fact that they finish runs. They're so physical at the end of runs. It's the one thing that Romeo Crennel told us in the production meeting last night when we met with the Texans defensive coordinator. He said when he watched the film of Devontae Freeman last week, the one thing that really stood out to him was how physical he was at the end of runs.
Ward's brother is T.J. Ward, who plays for the Cleveland Browns. 1st down and 10. Ward again, who played at De La Salle High School in California with a gain of 3, and the Cushing tackle brings him down at the 40-yard line.
He's not the only good running back to come out of.
Just another little guy, huh?
Yeah, Maurice Jones-Drew.
Buddy of yours.
Yeah, De La Salle High School in the Bay Area. Reminds you a little bit of him. I mean, just in terms of his body type. Short, stocky, powerful lower body.
He's got a touchdown run today of 8. He's had some big runs throughout the afternoon, 61 yards on 15 carries, and Freeman before him, the 2nd-year running back, had 3 touchdowns. Second consecutive 3-touchdown game for Freeman. The guy that they began the season with, rookie Tevin Coleman, as Rich was telling you about, out of Indiana. He's got a cracked rib. He's good. 2nd down and 7. Not a lot there. A pickup to 3, and they go to the 43-yard line. And John Simon out of Ohio State with the tackle.
Well, where do you go from here if you're the Houston Texans? I mean, you got to go back, and you got a short week. I think you've got to look at the film. You've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to make the corrections, and you've got to put this thing behind you. And you got to move forward.
And you think,
and ensure that something like this doesn't happen again. Kevin, they came out and they were flat. They just did not play well and did not respond to some adversity early.
Just saw Foster 8 carries and 10 yards and a fumble, which resulted in a touchdown return. 3rd and 4. Ward trying to pick and poke his way, and he is brought down by Andre Hal. And no gain. And the punting unit will come back on. So let me put you on the spot here. If you're O'Brien, do you go on Thursday against Indy with Hoyer or Mallett?
I think you go with Hoyer. I think he came in. He did give him a little bit of a spark. I think he's the steadier player at this point. I think you look at Mallett, Kevin. He's a bit wild. He's got to improve his accuracy. The team did not respond today. I think you got to go with the guy. I don't want to say the guy that has the hot hand, but I think you got to go with the guy that at least was able to move the team here some in the second half.
Lasher, and a flag was thrown on the play. Shorts will get it on a bounce. And get a block on the play from special teams partner A.J. Boyer, and a 16-yard return, 46-yard punt. Ball out of bounds at about the 26-yard line. The place is emptying. We have had nonstop rain here since we both came to town Thursday night. They've been socked in by the hurricane. They've not gotten nearly as much rain as the Carolinas in North.
You're like that Sleppy Schleprock on the Flintstones. You know the guy that it was a beautiful day and he'd come walking down the street and had a cloud over his head. It was always raining.
Sleppy Schleprock.
Sleppy, I think his name was Sleppy Schleprock.
Well, if it wasn't, it is now.
There are 2 fouls by the kicking team on the play. Illegal formation number 54. That penalty is declined. Holding number 47. That penalty will be accepted and added to the end of the return. 1st down, Houston. Timeout.
4.5 to go. Hoyer will get back out there with his offense. Atlanta looking at 4-0. Coming up from our CBS studios in New York, the Subway postgame show with JB, Tony, Bart Boomer, and Coach Cowher. Scores, news, highlights, all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Which we always talk about adjustments coming out of half. And certainly down 28-zip, there were adjustments to be made, but it didn't pay off today.
Yeah, I think, though, Hoyer did provide a spark, Kevin. The last 2 drives, 10 plays, 80 yards, touchdown, 10 plays, 75 yards. Defensively, it was not a great day for the Houston Texans. Offensively, Atlanta, they just kept pouring it on in the second half. And I thought defensively, while they gave up some explosives, I think they were playing some conservative coverages, trying to keep things in front of them. But pretty much a one-sided game here for the Falcons.
Chris Polk is the running back. It's 1st and 10. Look out. Hopkins. Nice move to get by Collins, the rookie, and then brought down by Ishmael. It is an 18-yard catch and run. They're down to the 46-yard line of Atlanta. We had great talks with Bill O'Brien and Dan Quinn over Friday and Saturday, and Rich having played, it really does open up a lot more deep conversation as Hoyer here will look into secondary with 5 for Atlanta, and that pass is caught by Hopkins. Back shoulder throw, belted out of bounds by Stupar, and the gain takes him to the 20-yard line of Atlanta. 26-yard pickup.
Well, this is the toughest pass in football, I think, to defend. This back shoulder throw. Hopkins is running what they thought was the go route. It's actually a stop route, and Brian Hoyer does a nice job stopping him in the hole. That is a very, very tough route to cover if you're a corner.
Mostly backups in there right now for Atlanta, Rich, defensively.
Yeah, it is what it is. But look, this is the NFL. Brian Hoyer's got a chance to play, Kevin, and he's taken advantage of the opportunity. Who knows? Again, this is
right.
It's an opportunity to show the coaching staff that maybe he deserves the opportunity to be the starter once again.
1st and 10 here, and he's looking for Hopkins, and he caught it, but maybe on the chalk. He was out of bounds. They were working on Jalen Collins. Part-time starter at LSU and a second-round rookie. The Bayou Bengals for Atlanta's secondary.
Clearly gets the left foot in. Question, does he drag that right foot? I don't think so.
He did. I didn't see the pellets trailing a dragging foot.
Oh, so close.
Hopkins, 1,000-yard receiver a season ago. 76 receptions last year, 1,200 yards. That was with Ryan Fitzpatrick and others as quarterback. He's got 606 yards today, 6 catches. Second down and 10. Bierman coming in, and no one home. But we talk to these coaches, and they reveal a lot about their strategy and looking at quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think when you look at the Houston Texans, Kevin, I think sometimes you can make a mistake. You know, when you need a quarterback and you're so desperate to get one, oftentimes you make a mistake. Many times in your mind, you create one. You overlook many of their deficiencies. For example, they could have taken Johnny Manziel last year in the draft, maybe. But they may have thought, he doesn't fit their system, or he doesn't have the football acumen. Maybe our team is not ready for him. And that philosophy never works. They have been patient, to their credit. They have resisted the urge to jump in and take a quarterback that maybe wasn't a fit for them.
Hoyer into the nickel on 3rd and 10. He finds Hopkins down about the 9. Touch there by Therizi. Picks up 12. First down to the 8.
So instead, they've chosen to go the free agent route. Fitzpatrick comes in last year. He's kind of a stopgap guy. He helps them win 9 games. This year, they go out and get Brian Hoyer. Are they in the market for a quarterback? You're darn right. Do they need a championship quarterback? They do. But in the meantime, they're not going to make a mistake and go out and grab a guy like a Johnny Manziel that isn't the right fit and isn't the long-term answer at quarterback.
First and goal at the 8. He's got another touchdown pass. Caught by Shorts. 8-yard throw. 3 consecutive scores for Houston, with Hoyer at the helm. Cecil Shorts with a touchdown reception, his first this year.
A really nice job by Hoyer moving around in the pocket. He's going to pump and start to his left. It's not there. He's able to slide. He keeps his eyes down the field, the ball in a throwing position, and makes a good, accurate throw to Cecil Shorts for 6. Look at Hoyer.
He's on it.
He's on it, Kevin. He looks sharp.
13-21 and getting his confidence back, which he lost in that season-opening game down in Houston to Kansas City. Novak. He'll put one through 42-21. 3 consecutive scores, again, against mainly the backups. But when you're Houston and you're trying to find a ray of light, this is it, and maybe it will carry over to Thursday. You also said something, Rich, which just was jarring. You said when players walk into a building and there's no confidence in the quarterback, he says it spreads to all parts of the team.
Yeah, it's demoralizing. I mean, it's a tough place to work when you don't have the trigger. And I think Bill O'Brien and his staff are trying to make do with what they have. I think they realize that neither of these players, Hoyer or Mallett, may be the long-term answer. But in the meantime, this is what you have to work with, and you have to find creative ways to make these guys functional in your system. And I think when you look at the change today, okay, so they leave here 1-3. On Thursday night, they've got the Colts. The Colts are banged up, Kevin, at quarterback. Who knows whether Luck plays. And then after that, they've got to go to Jacksonville. I think it's a winnable game. They've got Miami on the road. Then they've got Tennessee before they come home against their bye. There's no reason why this team can't get on a roll. Defense start playing better. Get Foster back and running the football. And who knows, maybe they head into their bye, at or around 500.
Warriors drives, 64 yards, Rich, 75 and 80, all resulting in touchdowns.
He's looked sharp. And it shows you, Kevin, that he was staying in the game. He was preparing and working as if he was going to start this game. A lot of these guys, they're backups, they're not staying involved. He's a guy that takes a great deal of pride in his preparation and performance each and every week.
Timeout taken. Hopkins, by the way, on that drive, had caught one for 26 and also one for 12. So Hopkins' fingerprints were all over that drive as they discussed perhaps an onside kick, I'm assuming. And we have got 3:01 remaining. Cecil Shorts coming over. And I know you feel this way too. If you can finish a game like this with some kind of momentum, more times than not, it does carry to the next game.
Absolutely, especially offensively, Kevin, because they really struggled in the first half. They've come out here in the second half. They've scored 21 fourth-quarter points. And I think you can carry some of that momentum, some of that confidence into the game on Thursday night. It's going to be a short week. They've got to get up to speed. I think the key for them offensively is they got to get 23 going. They've got to find a way to get Arian Foster back up to speed, confident again, and because he is such a difference maker. I mentioned at the beginning of the game, he's accounted for almost a third of their offense over the past 5 seasons.
He'll be different too with some live game. The bullets are flying, and remember he was hurt on the first day of training camp with live contact, and Novak will send that out of the end zone over the head of Weems. But he really had no contact. He had no gameplay. And we've seen it time and time again. When players don't have training camp and they have not had live action, when they try to come back from a lengthy injury or a suspension, they're just not the same.
And then I think it takes some time, Kevin, to get used to the speed of the game and to get comfortable again in the offense. And it's a process. I think today was the beginning of it, at least getting him back out there.
Yes.
And getting him some live reps.
Sean Renfree out of Duke with a couple of tight ends and a 1st and 10 from his 20. Oh, they're moving right there.
Ball start, number 72 offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Bryce Harris, who was just waived by New Orleans and taken in by Atlanta as they continue to get the kind of offensive lineman that Kyle Shanahan feels he needs to run a different kind of offense.
I think I've been most impressed with the job that these guys have done up front, Kevin. I knew they were coming on. I knew they were getting better. They've got 2 big tackles. But you can tell they have a lot more speed, athleticism inside, the ability to get out and pull and run and get up on the second level. They've done a really nice job up front today.
Ward is met by Cushing on a 1st and 15. And he's knocked down about the 20-yard line with a gain of 5. And the Falcons have this coming up.
Yeah, these are all winnable games as well. They start getting into some divisional play against New Orleans and Tennessee, or New Orleans and Tampa Bay, and that's a.
I don't think they've got 5
no, they
straight
don't.
on that. That's never happened in the history of the game, unless.
Nope.
So take out the ads, but those are the teams.
A lot of work. Good look at the owner. He's got to be happy today, huh, Kevin?
Yeah, he's got a brand new stadium going up next door. Although we looked at this stadium, we thought,
nice.
What's wrong with this? There are a lot of cities that would like to have a stadium like this. It's kind of interesting to see them put up another one. Weems and Williams, receivers, 2nd down and 10. Simon is going to foul Renfree, and wisely he hits the deck as Simon, who was just fined $17,000 for his hit on Jameis Winston last week, so he was a little bit lighter in the pocketbook, was chasing a loss of 4 back to the 16.
Well, look at Simon. Talk about being disciplined. Everyone's going to go this way. The quarterback comes out, but watch this guy. Does a nice job keeping contained, keeping his eyes up the field and making the adjustments. Now I realize it's not a receiver or running back, it's a quarterback, but still a good alert play on the backside by John Simon.
The only negative for us.
Just do your job, right? That's it. Just do your job.
That's a good saying.
Right?
The only disappointment for me today is we didn't see more of Julio Jones.
I know.
Who is just setting the league on fire. And he and the quarterback, Matt Ryan, have been just a dynamite combination. I mean, maybe the hottest quarterback wide receiver combination in the league right now after this historically good start. You see it, but they didn't need him today.
No, they really didn't. You look at the numbers today, but most receptions in the first 3 games of the season. That's a record 34 yards after catch. Kevin, he's 2nd in the league right now, 264 coming into today's tackle. We showed you in the beginning of the game just the fact that he's so powerful and strong off the line of scrimmage. He does a great job making the difficult catch look easy. And finally, he has what I would refer to as rare and unusual speed. A guy that can run a 4.3 and he can get by you in a hurry.
We just saw a 2-yard run by Ward on 3rd and 16. 4th down here. They will punt. Shorts back at the 25. And, probably good, too, because he has a toe issue and a hamstring issue, so he didn't have to play as many snaps today. We've reached the 2-minute warning. It's 42-21. The Falcons going to 4-0. All right, the 2-minute warning and a punt coming up. 3rd consecutive punt for the Atlanta Falcons, who at one time today led 42-0. And the punt is away. Shorts from the 29. It's out of bounds and stops the clock. The Texans are out of timeouts, as you can see. And here's next week on CBS. St. Louis, Green Bay, and then New England and Dallas is the national game, and it all begins with the NFL today. The team that will take you to Super Bowl 50 in Santa Clara. There's James Brown. There's Boomer Esiason, my partner on Monday Night Radio. All right there. And getting ready to bring you the Subway postgame, time permitting, in New York. Hoyer is in. 3 consecutive scores. He's led this offense too with the 1st and 10 right here. Winding up and going deep and looking for Hopkins, and he has double team coverage with a tumbling defensive back. First of all, they had Adams back there, and also Robinson Therese.
Well, he gives him a shot. Tough situation here. You've got Adams and the safety, Therese. It would have been a great effort, DeAndre Hopkins, but very good coverage on the back end from the Falcons.
So the Texans with new running back in Foster, new quarterback in Hoyer, new kicker in Novak. Failing some things here in game 4, 2nd down and 10. That's underneath, and it's caught by Garrett Graham. Gets to the 42-yard line and is hit by a couple, including linebacker Alan Bradford. It is a gain of 6. Garrett Graham from Wisconsin. 3rd down and 4.
What do you got, Diamond? All right, here we go. 59. 80.
3rd down and 4 for Hoyer. And Lutz with another back shoulder throw taken by Hopkins, who is down to about the 20 of the Falcons. It's a 28-yard pickup. Adams was in the vicinity, covering. 28-yard catch by Hopkins. It is a 1st down.
Well, DeAndre Hopkins has quietly had a pretty good game here in the second half. 8 catches for 146 yards on the day.
Hoyer, Brown with the block at the left tackle. We also welcome back to Brown today, too. Dwayne was out with a couple games missed. Incomplete with the coverage by Jalen Collins. So there are some new people coming back in for Bill O'Brien that they can kind of build on toward next week.
Yeah, it's getting healthy, I think, Kevin, and I think it's, this is an opportunity to go back and make the corrections and clean some things up and get that guy healthy and
engaged,
teed up and ready to go next week. A short week.
3 turnovers by the Texans really put them behind the 8 ball in that first half. 2nd down and 10 for Hoyer. Poke the back. Hoyer a little high, and that zips over the head of Hopkins with Therese along with Southward in the end zone covering.
You gotta be careful here. You put your receiver in a tight spot there. Trying to fit those balls late down the middle. Safety coming in over the top. How guys get hurt.
Hoyer from Michigan State. This is the 34th game he has played in. Rich said it earlier, he's at 18 career starts under his belt. We'll get another one coming up Thursday. 3rd and 10. Hoyer looking again for the back shoulder throw. Hopkins once again was right there. Southward was defending the gain to the 9. 11-yard pickup.
Oh, they're doubling him. Watch this catch. I mean, the extension, the ability. He's so strong. I love how he goes up and high points the ball.
His 9th catch ties a career high. Hopkins out of Clemson. Hopkins, last game in this building was against LSU in a bowl game. He had 13 catches and 191 yards that December evening. 1st and goal at the 9, and knocked away beautifully by Ishmael out of Central Florida, 3rd-year defensive back. Hopkins kind of likes it here. Are you looking at your list for anything else to talk about here as we wind up this game?
No, okay. Actually, look at my eyes. I'm looking at looking at the monitor. Look at that guy's eyes right there. He's had a long day.
He has. Let's have the guys in back of him. 2nd and goal at the 9. There's some good quality snaps for this second-string defense of Atlanta, too. Every coach likes to rest their starters and put their backups in there. Although that guy's not a backup, that's Rashid Hagman. Does the hard work, unnoticed work, doesn't get a lot of stats, but he does get a sack right there, his first of the year, and they drive him back with the loss of 8, back to about the 17.
Yeah, it's good to see that. And you see Dan Quinn, he's loving it. It's where he spends a lot of his time coaching up those big guys up front.
2nd and goal at the 9, Hoyer. And stepping out of bounds was Hopkins. Oh, they say he tiptoes in for the touchdown.
I'm looking at the official, Kevin.
I am too.
He was right in position to see it.
I thought Hopkins had actually stepped out of bounds earlier on.
Up here in the booth, it looked like that. There
out right
it is.
there, yeah, that's not going to count. Good camera work, guys.
Good eyes.
Well,
saw that early.
They will wipe this away. You stepped out of bounds, you can't.
Yep, right there, the right foot.
As they review from upstairs.
The ruling of a touchdown is under review. We'll review the play.
You're going to see that right foot right there.
Working on Southward. They've got a pretty good 1-2 punch, Rich, the Atlanta Falcons do in their front office as they review this score, which will not count. We haven't talked about Scott Pioli, and then the man that heads it in there, Thomas Dimitroff. Dimitroff and Pioli both with New England roots, working with the Patriots.
Well, they do a good job, and I think the addition of Scott Pioli has really helped Kevin. He's out on the road watching some college games. We had a chance to visit with Thomas Dimitroff on Friday.
There's Dimitroff.
Good look at him on the sidelines, and he's excited about this football team. He's excited about the changes that they've made with the roster, and of course, I think the new leadership that they brought into the building has been a breath of fresh air. Dan Quinn's come in. He's energetic. He's passionate about this game, and of course, I think they put together a great staff. I think Kyle Shanahan's, really done a nice job with Matt Ryan with the running game. I think you look at Richard Smith. You mentioned earlier that he really came in, and their relationship, Richard Smith and Dan Quinn, goes way back. And Richard Smith said that as they talked about doing this thing, he said, "I'll do it exactly the way you want it done." You can't mix and marry two different systems.
Review, the receiver stepped out of bounds and did not reestablish. Inbounds. It is an incomplete pass. 4th down for Houston.
Carolina looks like they're going to win today. They'll be 4-0. Atlanta will be 4-0. Rich, who would have thought we'd have 2 undefeated teams of the 7 coming into this week 4 in this division?
And think about how crazy this division was last year. The Carolina Panthers won the division with a 7-8-1 record.
And now both are going to go to 4-0. We know Atlanta will. It looks like Carolina will.
You know what's great about this? When you get a lead like this, if you're Atlanta, a lot of young players get a chance to get their feet wet and get some reps and get some good plays on tape. This is how you develop the bottom half of your roster. When you have blowouts like this, and young players can gain valuable experience.
It's 4th and goal at the 17 games final play, barring a penalty. Hoyer. Shorts, Fedorowicz a block, Mumphrey a block. Now the quarterback may try to throw one. He does. Time is gone. Game is over. Gain of 3. Oh, they come the other way. It's Stupar. That is a fumble, and that may be a touchdown. Mumphrey will try to run down the linebacker. He cannot. The icing on the cake. And a return after a fumble. And the second defensive touchdown today by the Falcons. They're looking at it one more time to see if indeed he fumbled by the time that he was down. It was a hit. It was a fumble. And an over 80-yard return by Stupar.
Look at all the red jerseys. Talk about a pursuit drill. All 11 running to the ball carrier. The ball comes out. Stupar picks it up. What a terrific way to finish here in Atlanta.
They have got to do the extra point, so they bring the teams back on. Bradford knocked the ball away 53, and Stupar takes it the rest of the way. 2 defensive touchdowns, 84 yards officially on the return. Stupar, who mainly has played special teams. He's played for Oakland and Philadelphia, San Francisco, most recently Jacksonville. Third-year player out of Penn State. He's out of breath.
Where's the oxygen?
Yeah. I don't see any tanks there on the sideline, but yeah, that's right. You just scored. You just scored on an 84-yard return, which will count on a live play. Now, at the other end, we have a player down, it looks like for Houston, but getting up, and that's good to see. And holding on to his shoulder, that is not good to see. Cecil Shorts. How about that? And maybe the last play of the game, you may lose one of your top receivers.
That's really not good, considering, Kevin, that Nate Washington went to the locker room in the first half with a hamstring injury.
Let's watch Shorts and how they put him down. Bradford got him, landing awkwardly on the left. Oh, and that right there, that was it. You're right, Rich.
Never saw that coming.
Was that Grady Jarrett that may have landed on him? The extra point was not attempted. They just took a knee. But let's key, if you're a Houston Texan fan, you're going to keep track of that injury to Shorts. They're already short at that position. Big day for Matt Ryan and the team. They go to 4-0. What a start. Coming up next, the Subway postgame show. For Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan, so long from Atlanta. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, your home for Super Bowl 50.